but tied with the second best record in the NFL. And Jared, they've done it with defense. All season long, defense has been their trademark.
The Browns defense have been amazing. 5 touchdowns given up for the year in this stadium. And there's a New York Giant flavor to the Cleveland Browns. There's Pepper Johnson, Carl Banks, and Bill Belichick. All 3 were in the Super Bowl for the Giants.
The Cleveland Browns have allowed the fewest points of any defense in the National Football League this season. They have been rugged and tough from the get-go. Now, there are 2 electrifying players on the field today, too, in the special teams. Punt returners, David Maggott for the New York Giants and the great Eric Metcalf for the Cleveland Browns. They will be on display, and they will have a factor in this game.
Last year, coaching against these people, last year we played Cleveland. All week, you got to stop the punt return. You got to stop the kickoff return. That's the big thing today. You got to have good punt coverage, good kickoff coverage, or they'll score a touchdown on you in 1 play.
Brad DeLuiso, the kicker for the New York Giants. The touchbacks lead the National Football League this season. And deep back Eric Metcalf for the Cleveland Browns. DeLuiso, of course, has been even more focused upon for the New York Giants because of the struggles of David Treadwell, a story we'll get to a little bit later on. And we are underway in Cleveland. Randy Baldwin, who leads the National Football League in kickoff returns. And a flag is thrown as Baldwin works his way out to the 25-yard line. The tackle made by rookie Gary Downs. And Jerry Markbride is our referee here today in Cleveland. There is a threat of rain. It is about 55, 56 degrees right now. It will drop as the day goes on. The rain is in the forecast. There's raining, in fact, down the road in Cincinnati for today's Steeler-Bengals game.
Number 37 on the returns, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Cleveland offense coming off perhaps their best game. Vinny Testaverde signed as a free agent last year from Tampa Bay to back up Bernie Kosar. Kosar was released, and now Testaverde is the man and succeeding in Cleveland as the starter. And he's had a very good starting record for the Browns over the last 2 years, 10 wins and 5 losses. And Cleveland comes to the line with that penalty in tow. Just inside their 16, 1st and 10. Metcalf and Biner in the backfield. And Testaverde right to work. Ernest Biner. And he gets a couple yards to the 18-yard line, tackled by Corey Miller. Well, that offensive line a month ago made a change. Dawson to the left guard, Brown to the right tackle, and the results have worked well for a line that has given up the fewest sacks in the NFL. And they have spread things out and opened things out for Leroy Hoare. The story of late, 100 yards last week against Houston, on a pace for another 1,000-yard season with the ever-dangerous Metcalf. The healthy receivers, Alexander and Jackson, and Brian Kinshin is the tight end. 3 receivers, and 2nd down and 7 for Vinny Testaverde. Eric Metcalf up the middle and to the 24-yard line, and about 2 yards shy of the first down. The Giants have the number 18 defense in the NFL. They've had their trouble stopping the run. Eric Howard coming off a big game against Washington with Strahan, Fox, and Hamilton now healthy after missing last week. Michael Brooks is the leading tackler, the voice on the field. He dominates like no other Giant with Miller and Carlton Bailey. And Thomas Randolph is one of the new faces in the secondary, decimated by free agency and now injuries. Sparks is out today. That secondary will face a 3rd and 2 by the Cleveland Browns. Metcalf is himself in the backfield. Second pass by Testaverde. Catch made by the former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Mark Carrier, and a first down for the Cleveland Browns. That Testaverde to Carrier combination is something they have seen a lot of here, as they did down in South Florida.
Cleveland likes to stay out of the 3rd and longs like most teams, but they're sort of dedicated on the first down like the Giants, a run-down football team.
Bill Belichick, 12 years with the Giants, last 5 as the defensive coordinator, now the 4th year here in Cleveland. Had 3 consecutive losing seasons under Belichick until this season. Guaranteed him a winning year. First down and 10 yards to go for Testaverde. He needs to get to the 41, and he slides to about the 37, 38-yard line. I didn't know he was that much of a runner.
The reason he was able to run there, Kevin, is the Giants were in a man-to-man. Everybody took their guy and turned their back to the quarterback. The 2 safeties were free, so When you're man-to-man, there's room for the quarterback to escape if he gets by the front four. That's why he took off man-to-man, no linebackers sitting in the zone.
Hamilton missed last week, and Dan Reeves said that 7-game losing streak his Giants went through this past year was the toughest he has gone through as a coach or a player. Handoff to Leroy Horde. And the first down to the 45 of the Cleveland Browns, and the tackle made by Corey Miller.
They're going to come to the right of the screen. And he's looking to come off the double team block. Just a man-to-man, a hat on a hat, no line pulling, just run and get some yardage.
Yeah, with a couple tight ends here in Cleveland from time to time.
They'll sneak the third guy in, and much like the Giants, it may have 2 tights with 2 backs, or just the 1 tight with the 3 wides like right now.
Cleveland first down and 10. Testaverde a little bit shy as he was looking for wide receiver Michael Jackson, who dropped 3 passes last week. Right now for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio. James.
Hey, Kevin, Tampa Bay's trying to stave off another 10 or more losing season. Touchdown run by Craig Erickson, and the Bucs are on top by 5 with 32 seconds left against the Redskins. Back to Kevin and Jerry.
So they won in overtime last week up in Minneapolis.
This could be a 2-game winning streak, something Tampa Bay hadn't had for a while.
Second down and 10 now for the Cleveland Browns, and the 7th play of their drive. Metcalf the lone back, and the tight end is in motion, Kinshin. This is Eric Metcalf. He needs to get to the 45. He's got a Cleveland Brown first down to the New York Giant 37-yard line. Gain of 18 on the play, and the tackle made by Jesse Campbell.
The Giants ordinarily are a 4-man defensive line. You'll see they have 3, and they're going to blitz a backer. 1, 2, 3 down linemen. And Metcalf just waits for a hole open up to the left side. And a good job of avoiding tacklers.
So the Cleveland Browns on a long drive on the opening series of plays today. First down and 10. Little play action by Testaverde. Leroy Horde bobbles it at about the line of scrimmage, and the coverage by Corey Miller. Horde is on a pace, Jerry, for another 1,000-yard season for this organization, which really hasn't seen one since the 1985 year.
Horde's having a year that you took the big cut in his pay, and the salary exchange was put in incentives and getting the job done, and probably the most improved running back right now as compared to where he was when they got him out of Michigan, just doing a super job this year, and is able to get his salary back from making his incentives. 34
consecutive games without the opponent scoring on their opening drive. Second down and 10 for Testaverde. Completion to rookie Derek Alexander, and a gain of 15 and another Cleveland first down. Tackle made by right cornerback Corey Raymond.
When you're in trouble in the National Football League, you get a man to the flat and you get one in the curl and you rub off. It doesn't matter what team it is. Watch this open up. The flanker will end up on the curl. There he sits wide open. And that's sort of the universal let's get it going pattern. 3 people out the strong side.
With Metcalf and back of Vinny Testaverde, it's first down and 10 yards to go. More play action by Testaverde, and going to the end zone. Knocked down on the play by Corey Raymond. Intended for Michael Jackson.
Excellent coverage by Corey Raymond. Actually had a shot there, Kevin, as you saw, of intercepting the football, and then the Browns had a chance of getting a deflection. The secondary for the Giants, they lost 3 starters, they lost a couple of nickel players, and now they're hurt with injuries, still trying to play as good as they can play.
Nice balance on this drive by the Browns.
They've had 4 runs and 6 passes.
Now it's second down and 10. And the blitz is on, and the play is blown dead in mid-motion as Eric Metcalf was knocked by Jesse Armstead. Last week, the Cleveland Browns beat the Houston Oilers 34-10 in 2 consecutive wins for the Giants.
False start. Prior to the snap, number 69, offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Doug Dawson. Doug Dawson got out of there a little bit early. Go back to the Metcalf run, Kevin. I think all people hate to see Metcalf get the football when you're coaching against him. But here he's coming off the field, which when I was on the sideline, I'd say, great, he's out of the ball game, because he's the guy that really scares you.
And we welcome those of you watching the Washington Redskins Tampa Bay Buccaneer game here on the opening drive. The Cleveland Browns are driving on the New York Giants. And the pass completion to Ernest Biner, tackled by Marcus Buckley. Long drive by the Cleveland Browns as they took the opening kickoff. Testaverde has had a nice balance with the run and pass so far. And so far, they've run 11 plays with the 12th play upcoming in a scoreless game.
The Giants trying desperately to get a little pressure on. They blitzed Michael Brooks. They dogged him and they twisted the line. They're doing whatever they can, trying to get a little pressure, but nothing seems to be working right now, Kevin. The quarterback has all the time he needs.
Now 3rd down and 11. Testaverde to the end zone. And he overshoots wide receiver Mark Carrier. Coverage applied by Willie Beeman. Incomplete pass. And the Browns will try for 3.
Had the post corner route on. If you can throw the post corner like Testaverde did, stand there and wait, then you have pass protection. And the Giants have to try to get more pressure. Again, they did a loop and a stun inside with their tackles, but they're still not able to get any pressure after Testaverde.
Matt Stover has made 14 consecutive field goals. That is second in the NFL behind Minnesota's Fuad Reveiz. This will be a 42-yard field goal attempt. Make it 15 in a row for Matt Stover, who was originally taken by the New York Giants. So Reeves and the Giants are scored upon first. Cleveland 3 and New York nothing.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Hertz. For business, for pleasure. Nobody does it exactly like Hertz. By Digital. And by Heineken, the #1 selling imported beer. Heineken, just being the best is enough.
Revitalized Cleveland, Ohio. Here from Cleveland Stadium, the Browns getting a 41-yard field goal now officially from Matt Stover, his 15th consecutive field goal. Long drive to begin the game on the opening kickoff to the Cleveland Browns. Now the New York Giants get it. How will they respond with their quarterback, Dave Brown? Maggott and Marshall deep back, and Maggott from the 6. The ever dangerous Dave Maggott with the flag thrown works his way out to the 27-yard line. The tackle made by Gerald Dixon. And there was a penalty flag on the kickoff to the Browns to begin the game as well. The Giants are 5-7, and this will conclude their 3-game road trip for Dan Reeves and their coach of 2 seasons.
Personal foul. Low block. Half the distance to the goal. Number 78. Receiving team. First down.
Let's see if we'll get a shot of the low block here on replay.
It looked like he hit him a little bit above the waist before he went down there, Kevin. I think what they saw was him hit him right at the end, but he looked legal when the block started. Special teams player Greg Bishop. Dave Brown with that dog pounding back of him. First down and 10 yards to go and double tight ends. And Brown goes right to work. Kenyon Rashid. He'll be close to a first down to the 22-yard line. Quarterback Dave Brown rebounding after a concussion at Houston and benching 3 weeks ago against Arizona. He had a solid performance last week in the Giant win over the Washington Redskins. Jumbo Elliott on the line is playing well. They've allowed only 2 sacks in the last 3 games, and they've had to battle injuries too. Smith and Williams have been out, are back today. And Rodney Hampton had the best rushing performance in the NFL last week. 106 yards blocking from Pierce. Sherrard and Callaway the receivers, and the underrated tight end is Howard Cross. Gain of 9 on the pass. It's 2nd down and 1 for Dave Brown and the Giants. Rodney Hampton, he's got the first down. On his way once again to 1,000 yards. Running into a Cleveland defense
That has been the story for the Browns all season long, with impact defensive ends Rob Burnett and Anthony Pleasant. Michael Dean Perry, the 4-time Pro Bowler, along with Johnson. The leading tackler and the former Giant, middle linebacker Pepper Johnson, released by Reeves at New York last year, flanked by Stams and the former Giant Carl Banks. And in the secondary, Eric Turner, in the words of Bill Belichick, should be the NFL defensive MVP. Griffin, the former 49er, Moore, the former Miami Dolphin, and the sensational rookie Antonio Langham. As they've got the chains on the field, we called it a first down. Let's see if we were right.
They had a dog on. They sent Moore after through the B gap, blitzing through. They're trying to throw him for a loss.
Bill Belichick, he's either loved or hated here in Cleveland. There is no in between with him.
Well, if you can hit 50-50, though, and be a pro coach, you're all right. If you can get half of them for you, that's better than most places.
Giants have it 3rd down and 1. Rashid Hampton in the backfield.
Audible and on a 3rd and 1 with the dog pound behind him.
Brown takes it himself and burrows for the first down to the 25-yard line.
What he did is he set his backs to his right in a strong formation, and that told the Browns that he had a run to his right and ran the sneak to his left. So the formation allowed that quarterback sneak to be executed.
There's Nick Saban, the defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns.
He was announced yesterday as the new head coach of the Michigan State Spartans, and what an excellent coach he is. I was fortunate enough that we had him work with us in Texas, and then he was the head coach at the University of Toledo, had a great year, and then came here with Coach Belichick, and now off to Michigan State.
Double tight ends on a 1st and 10 for the New York Giants. 80 is Callaway, and Brown to put it up. Kenyon Rashid for a 2nd time today, and he should have the first down to the 36-yard line. Gain of 12 on the pinpoint pass by Dave Brown, who threw a couple touchdowns last week against Washington.
You have 2 tight ends and 2 backs in the backfield. That's a running formation, and everybody gets geared up to stop the run. And what the Giants did out of that formation each time is throw the football, and it opened up with Rashid to the flat. A good job by the Giants, a good plan.
Rashid's only caught 5 passes all year coming into today. He's already got 2 on the first drive.
That may be it. They're out of that formation now.
Here's a 1st down and 10. And the Browns followed it well, led by safety Stephen Moore. And a gain of about 2 on the play.
A toss, a student body. Here we go. We're going to the left down offense. What Hampton said is going 7 losses in a row. Nobody on the team gave up. Everybody came and kept practicing hard, and that's a credit to what's inside their players and their coaching staff. He said, boy, losing 7 in a row just about kills you, but nobody quit trying to play.
Reeves now trying to concoct a 2nd and 8 play. His team down 3-0. Pierce is wide to the bottom of your screen. Check it off at the line. Play a game against the New York Giants.
There was a double check. The quarterback was audible line, and you could watch the linebackers. They start hollering, no, 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 get out of the blitz.
There's no snaps, delay of game, offense. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Dave Brown told us last night he doesn't audible that much.
For some reason, he read the blitz, so he wanted to go for it. So when he saw blitz, he started audibleizing. And then what happens on the defense, they know that their mail's been read. So they'll still watch the linebackers. There, he holds his hands up right there. Pepper Johnson, no, 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 get out of the blitz. 58, we're out of it, we're out of it. That's what was going on there.
Penalty now pushes it back for the New York Giants. 2nd down, 13 yards to go. Brown. Nice adjustment in mid-stride by Mike Sherrard. And a first down to the Cleveland Brown 22-yard line. And a pickup up 38 yards on the play.
That Kevin, you said it. When you said adjustment, he's going to throw the post corner, but it's not a good throw. It's really a good reaction to the ball. Here he is going to the outside, looks over his shoulder and comes, but you said it right away, Kevin. That's a reaction to the ball in the air.
And he got Eric Turner on the play. And Don Griffin was involved.
Getting Eric Turner is not easy to do either. We think he's an excellent football player.
A couple big plays like that against the Redskins pulled it out for the New York Giants. So they've got it 1st and 10 from the Cleveland 22. Hampton inside the 15 to the Cleveland 14-yard line. He's had 2 consecutive games over 100 yards. Eric Turner makes the stop.
They went back to how they started this. Very unusual here. They got 2 tight ends, 2 backs, and 1 wideout. That's a running formation that they threw out of. And here they come, a power to, as you look at defensive right side, and he will run after contact. One thing about Hampton, you can't get an arm on him, Kevin. You got to hit him hard.
8 of 7 on that play. 8th play of the drive coming up. 2nd down and 3. Hampton again to the 12. And that should be good for a 1st down. Chopped down by defensive end Rob Burnett.
Here's a guy from Houston, Texas. Decided to go to the University of Georgia. Got drafted by the Giants. He said, I'm going to live either in Houston or he said maybe Atlanta when it's all done playing. But I love playing in New York. I love the city.
Big Giants drive early in this game. Cleveland had a big drive to open up the game, and the Giants have countered. Now a double tight ends for Dave Brown. Quick count on 1st and 10. Rodney Hampton couldn't find a lot of room. Backed up by Dan Footman, 78.
That could have been a penalty. The Cleveland Browns are getting warned right now. One of the defenders spiked the ball. You cannot spike the ball in the field of play. And the Cleveland guy got warned there by Jerry Markbright. But there was a quick snap and nothing was there, and you saw him slide to the left, trying to find a hole. Good defense by the Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland has only allowed 5 touchdowns all season at home. Giants near the 10. 2nd down and 7. Dave Brown. Rodney Hampton. Ball is loose. Incomplete pass. They call it. Frank Stams, the linebacker, was in the area. Incomplete pass.
Again, this is a running formation that they're throwing out of because both ends are tight. You can see that there's no wideout out this way. They got a wideout here, so this becomes the 3-man side, and he'll try to throw the ball to Hampton. He should have caught it. Good throw. Straight in on him. You got to make that play. Good job by Frank making the tackle, knocking the ball out of it.
Jumbo Elliott out with back spasms. Greg Bishop takes his place. 3rd down and 7. 11th play of the New York drive. And Brown to the air. Touchdown, New York Giants. Aaron Pierce. And only the 6th touchdown given up all season in 7 home games by the Cleveland defense.
You can give that touchdown to the quarterback, Dave Brown. The linebackers made a good drop. What he was looking for was not there. But the linebackers followed Dave Brown's eyes, and then he came back and found who they let go. And the man was free in the end zone. That wasn't where the ball was supposed to go. Good job by a good, hard-nosed, tough young quarterback.
The Giants have the lead on Aaron Pierce's 4th touchdown reception of the season. And Brown, who threw 2 touchdowns last week in Washington, has put the Giants on top in the 1st quarter in Cleveland. New York 7, Cleveland 3. On an 87-yard drive, Dave Brown through the air, 4 of 5.
Pepper Johnson's going to drop back, and as he drops back, he's got this area. But the back, watch the back come out. He goes and chases the back, and it opens up behind him. Easy, nice job by the quarterback. Being patient and let the man roll in behind your linebacker.
And the subsequent kickoff by Brad DeLuiso. Randy Baldwin, number 1 in the NFL from his own 15. Working against the sideline and knocked out of bounds near the 29-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. And now it's up to Vinny Testaverde to come back. Giants 7, Cleveland 3.
There's the defense of the Cleveland Browns, and they're hearing about that formation. They probably were not ready for the 2 tight ends and 2 backs and 1 wideout and throwing the ball out of that set, Kevin. So they're getting a little extra coaching on the sideline. Giants
had 87-yard touchdown drive. Browns had it the first time. They went 60 yards and got a field goal. Now Cleveland 1st down and 10. Leroy Hoard In his 5th year out of Michigan, Jesse Campbell was there to stop him for the Giants.
They had everybody blocked, and the safety has to replace. When you get the linebacker and you slide off and everybody's blocked, then your safety has to become the linebacker. And he came right up on the line of scrimmage, and that's called replacing the man that's blocked. Nice job by Jesse Campbell.
2nd down 10 at the 31.
2nd down and 10. Vinny Testaverde, who spent 6 years with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. With Metcalf in motion, Testaverde to his 2nd receiver. Tight end Brian Kinchin, who caught a touchdown last week against Houston. Coverage supplied by strong safety Jarvis Williams.
They sent Eric Metcalf in motion. That draws the coverage. So all the coverage went off to the left. And that leaves Kitchen all alone inside, and he just threw a high ball. He just didn't follow through with his hand, and just a bad pass to start off here with.
Third down for the Cleveland Browns has not been very kind. Last in the National Football League. Now they got a 3rd down and 10. Vinny Testaverde. And he's got the receiver. Derek Alexander to the New York Giant 26-yard line. His 32nd catch and a gain of 43.
3 wideouts, 1 tight end in the game. And Kevin, it looked like he jumped out of the ground. You can't. Here's the 2 wideouts. Here's the tight end. Here's the wideout. He drops back. And it's just a fake out and not much of an out, and went right down through the middle.
Back had to hesitate just a bit for the pass, didn't he?
Sure did. A nice throw. Vinny had a real bad throw the down before. Comes right back, stands in there. And he really had to wait on the ball. If he didn't wait on the ball, I believe we had a touchdown on that. If you were a Cleveland Brown fan, you'd be jumping up and down.
And on 1st and 10, Leroy Horde. Gang tackled by the New York Giants, led by Bailey, Widmer, Michael Strahan. No gain on the play. Loss of about a yard. Leroy Horde. They've made those changes in the offensive line, and he has responded. The bad weather, I guess, gets that running game feel back for a team. Huh?
Well, you cannot live in New York and win in New York in the late of December, and you can't do it in Cleveland unless you can run the football. That was the best gang tackling by the Giants so far today. They had 8-9 guys smacking them that time.
Loss of a yard on the play. 2nd down and 11. In a 7-3 Giants lead late 1st quarter. Vinny Testaverde to Metcalf. And when he gets in the field like this, he can be tough. As he pierces the 21, he gets near the 20. John Booty was there to make the stop on who you think is one of the more electrifying players in the NFL.
I think Metcalf in the open field is a hard job.
Well, both teams have taken their first possessions today and driven downfield. A touchdown catch by 84 Aaron Pierce. Giants lead it. Sun setting in Cleveland, Ohio. Looks fairly calm there, but they are predicting some rain later on today. Pittsburgh now goes to 10-3, and they get a wild card, at least a wild card playoff today. New England wins today, beating the Jets in a crucial game for the Patriots and for New York. Now for the Cleveland Browns at 9-3. A win today is a must if they want to keep track with the Pittsburgh Steelers and on pace to possibly win the division. They've got a 3rd and 5. Testaverde. Pass caught in the play. Derek Alexander. 1st down for the Cleveland Browns and a pickup of 13 yards. He beat Willie Beeman and Tito Woot. And the playoff picture in the AFC looks this way. Kansas City now taking on the Denver Broncos. New England's win today vaults them to 7-6. Then the Raiders, Buffalo, Denver, and the Jets on the outside looking in. The Chargers, Steelers, and Dolphins currently, as of right now, on the top of their respective divisions in the West, the Central, and the AFC East. It's a 1st down with Metcalf in the backfield for Vinny Testaverde. 83 is carrying. Metcalf wrapped up with some of the best penetration we've seen today by Eric Howard. Howard is coming off a big game last week at RFK in Washington.
The 2 tackles for the Giants, Mike Fox and Eric Howard, can play the run. They can grab you. They do a great job of grabbing blocks. Watch him come right up the middle. He's on the nose. He's doing a little loop to the outside. There he is. Runs right into him. And these two, they don't generate a big pass rush, but they do play the run good when you stick the ball on them.
Second long drive put together by the Cleveland Browns. They got a field goal the first time they had it. Second down goal from the 13. 25 is Alexander. Vinny Testaverde. Pass caught by Biner. And he's down to about the 8-yard line. Tackle made by rookie Thomas Randolph from Kansas State.
And a nice tackle it was in the open field. They ended up one-on-one with that flat pass, and he had to make the play or Biner was going in. The rookie had to say, I got to get him down or they're going to get a touchdown. Nice play by a young rookie on a good football player.
Offense in scoring territory has been just so-so for the Cleveland Browns. They don't have that sparkling offense, but they feel over the last couple games they've been gaining some offensive momentum. Here's a 3rd and goal. Testaverde. Oh, and room for Horde. That is until Beeman came over there and shut the door. His closure on the play was very, very good. And it wouldn't be a Cleveland, New York game if you didn't see a little bit of this.
When you come to this stadium, that's part of it. Get the fans cranked up, get everybody going. They got in a cluster. They got all bunched up and then tried to throw the flare. All the 3 wideouts you'll see are all, look how close everybody's in here in a cluster, and then they're going to just throw the flare, try to get a pick on those people inside.
So their job was to drag some of those other people for the Giants out of the area.
Clear it out so this little flare pass, he could get it and run hard after the catch.
Matt Stover's already kicked 1 field goal today from 41 yards away. He's kicked 15 consecutive field goals. With this field goal right here,
The play clock should be set at 5 seconds, please. That was killed. It should have started at 25. Thank you.
if Stover is successful on this field goal, he will tie the all-time Cleveland record for consecutive field goals of 16 by the great Don Cockrum. This from 24 yards away. There is little breeze in Cleveland this afternoon. And the Browns come to within a point. 12:06 remaining in the first half of play. Dan Reeves still leading his Giants 7, Cleveland 6.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered.
That was Jacobs Field you saw in the background there as we're back in Cleveland Stadium. Giants still holding on to a 7-6 lead on a 10-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Dave Brown to the H-back Aaron Pierce. And here's a long drive by Cleveland as they counter with their second field goal of the day by Stover at 7-6. Testaverde, by the way, on that drive, 5 and 6 through the air. Make it from the 6-yard line for the Giants. Ridden out of bounds by Turner, and they take special pride in their special teams in Cleveland, Ohio. Benny Thompson, who is the captain of the special teams and a former All-Pro with the New Orleans Saints.
The team elected him captain, and the coaches told us it wasn't even close. Nobody else got a vote.
Wow.
Wow, look at him hit.
Kozlowski fell backwards.
Man, that's head on head. You have to be a little bit crazy to be elected to special teams captain. We're hoping he's not injured because he has to make the tackles in the kicking game. He's their star.
Benny Thompson came to Cleveland from the Kansas City Chiefs. And somewhat of a surprise that he was available, but the Browns sucked him right up. Well, the Giants have a lead, and Dave Brown has got some confidence. 7-6, New York leading Cleveland. A lot of flying around from Benny Thompson.
Well, we hope he's all right. He made good contact, then he got up and chased the ball, and he took about 4 or 5 steps and then dropped, so we hope it's just a burner and that he's okay.
Second possession for the Giants, and a long drive and a touchdown pass the first time they had it. And Dave Hampton, Rodney Hampton takes it for a first down. Rodney Hampton out to about the 32-yard line, and a gain of 13 on the play. One of the keys for the Browns today was stopping Rodney Hampton for the New York Giants.
They came in this time talking about the Giants with 2 tight ends and a wide out each side. Remember, they weren't running this formation, so they're out formation him right now, and he's got a little bit of a crack in there, and you know Rodney, he's going to run 100 miles an hour.
And William Roberts sprung him free on that offensive line for the Giants. First down and 10. Here's Hampton. He gets the toss. And he's out to about the 34. Right now, we toss it to James Brown and McDonald's halftime game break. James?
All right, Kevin, it's an early seesaw battle in San Francisco. The Falcons were up 7-3. Steve Young comes right back, finding John Taylor for the 12-yard score. And the 49ers are on top by a field goal. Take it back to Cleveland. Kevin Harlan and Jerry Glanville.
San Francisco in a game against the Atlanta Falcons. Here it's New York and Cleveland, and the Giants on top by a point. Brown now facing 2nd down and 9. 80s Callaway. Brown to put it up. Wide receiver Mike Sherrard. And he's got the first down to the New York Giants 45-yard line.
The motion chased Cleveland right back into a 2-deep zone. So zone, everybody got off, and Sherrod came right underneath him. An easy throw, and then when you're doing that, you have to run after the catch, which he did for the first down.
What are you noticing about the Giants' offensive game plan against Belichick and the Browns today?
They're being very patient. They're being very patient, and they've switched the formations up. Each series they're coming in with different personnel.
First down and 10. And again it's Hampton. Nice block from Pierce. And a gain of 6 to the 49. The entire defense had a hand in that one. Some of the scores around the NFC have led to Dallas 31-19 win over Philadelphia. The Eagles continue to spiral downward, and Dallas is really looking good as they head for another playoff berth in the NFC East. Now, the Giants have won 2 in a row. First winning streak since September. They are mathematically involved. A slim chance at best, but at least Jerry makes those last 4 games meaningful and memorable.
As long as you have a chance, you got to keep on fighting, and you got to fight even if you don't have a chance. I think this Giant team will. 2nd down and 4 for Brown. Caught by Callaway. Another Giants first down near the 42 of the Cleveland Browns. Carl Banks knocks him out of bounds. Cleveland, Kevin, likes to play zone. So what they're doing right now is they're coming underneath. Watch Chris Callaway. He's going to run underneath the zone. He's going to come into motion. And here he comes right up underneath. And you see everybody in the zone. And it's a first down. Same thing they did in the last series to get that first down. Short underneath. Let him run after the catch.
Browns had a good start. 6 of 7. Quarterbacking for the Giants. And that play blown dead again.
False start, number 66, offense. Prior to the snaps, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Pittsburgh with the win today. Green Bay's on top of Detroit. That game pivotal for those 2 NFC teams. New Orleans shutting out the Los Angeles Rams early in the game. With the penalty now, first down and 15 to go for the Giants, who lead by a point over Pepper Johnson and the Cleveland Browns. But still, it's hard to say. This game, they usually end up being in a Giants uniform. Rodney Hampton. He picked up about 6 or 7 yards on the play. Anthony Pleasant was there to stop him. You know, he's had a pretty good day. Cleveland's defense has not given up a 100-yard rushing game all season long.
He's on his way. Watch it to your left. He's going to take it and bring it right off to the left. Pulling Lance Smith up through the hole, the backside guard. Here's Pepper trying to get by. You see a big hook on him. A little bit of a hold on him there.
Rodney Hampton today, 9 carries, 41 yards. 2nd down and 9. Here's his 10th carry. Rodney Hampton has close to a first down yards at the 32. Eric Turner makes the stop. Aaron Pierce with the block, which springs Rodney Hampton.
Aaron Pierce, they had a dog on coming from the defensive right. So the defensive rights, these guys are going to dog. We're going to get motion here and pick off the blitz and open the hole off. Here comes the linebacker. Nice job. And then running. Look at the wide receiver blocking. Mike Sherrard just pushing and shoving, knocking people around.
It's amazing what a couple wins will do as the Giants do get the first down.
By 1 chain link.
But they've had a couple wins here, winning last week in Washington, 21-19. Play with a little bit more confidence.
What's important there, that first down came after the penalty. Got the holding, and you overcame the penalty. Now you tell your team, we got that penalty out of the way. Let's not have any more.
And again, they line up with the double tight ends. First down and 10. And the 6th carry on the drive for Rodney Hampton. And this will produce nothing. Wrapped up by Anthony Pleasant. Help from Frank Stams in the linebacking core.
He looked where the play was supposed to go. He did not like it, and he's got those feet, so he slid outside, and by that time, everybody was waiting on him. Good pursuit. The Cleveland Browns, they chase, they hustle, and they hit. And when you stop and think about it and go to slide, they'll run you down.
Hampton ahead of last year's pace. Going up against his former teammate Pepper Johnson. 2nd down and 11.
Audibleized in there, Kevin.
Play action by Brown. With time. But nobody is there. Sherrard was making an out pattern at about the 15-yard line, but no one was that deep.
What Dave Brown did on the line of scrimmage, he patted himself on the butt to the right and to the left. That's calling the play, because the dog pound is so loud. The audible is really, it's a visual audible, Kevin. Watch my hand signal. And he hand signaled for a post corner, and the wideout ran it out. So that's why you have the busted making play.
Now 3rd down and 11 to go. Gary Downs is in the backfield. Maggot. Roberts is pulling, but so too are the Cleveland Browns. Loss of 3 on the play to the 35. Dan Footman with his 2nd big play.
The defensive team of the Browns, why are they rated so good? Here's Pepper, but he will not be the Lone Ranger. He's going to run him. He sees the reverse. Chase Maggot. Don't overrun. He's waiting for the cutback. He's not going. Wait. You know he's cutting back. There, I'm still here. There's the big boy. Get on the ground. And here comes the rest of the Browns. They're all going to get in on it.
And the first punt today by Mike Harlan, who has not had that good a season punting for the New York Giants. Metcalf is deep back, and he'll let it go. Into the end zone, back to the 20 for the Cleveland Browns. So the game's first punt. Yet the Giants still hold on to a lead on a touchdown pass to Aaron Pierce. 7-6, New York. Giants on a touchdown pass lead the Cleveland Browns 7-6. And coming up next Saturday on Fox, our national game will be the Detroit Lions, who today take on Green Bay against the New York Jets, who today lost to New England. So it's a must game for both teams. 12:30 Eastern time next week. Fox Television Network. And the tight end Frank Hartley looked like he jumped on the left side, bottom portion of your screen. Cleveland on first down today, Jerry, has not had much success, and it continues with that play.
That was going to be a handoff behind the tight end Hartley, who jumped off sides. They have 4 passes.
Ball starts, number 48, offense, prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty, first down.
The Browns have 4 passes and 4 rushes on first down and are averaging 0.8 yards per first down. And you got to credit the Giants for doing a good job there. I know Bill Belichick won't be happy with that, but the Browns right now are not getting it done on first down.
So their defense is stopping Cleveland. Look what their offense is doing on first down. The Giants.
5.8. They're throwing on first down out of that running formation.
Looks like they want to blitz here. On 1st and 15 on Testaverde. Good time. Pass bobbled and dropped by Derek Alexander. Nice coverage by Corey Raymond on the corner. And they had Jesse Armstead coming up the middle.
All right, Metcalf returns punts. Metcalf can win games. What people don't realize in the National Football League, you got to play the whole game. Watch 21 to your right here. Bam, he's got the blitzer down on the ground. That's good football.
Up until that miss by Testaverde, he had 5 consecutive passes. With the incompletion, 2nd down and 15. Pinch it in motion. Another pass by Testaverde. Looking for Alexander, almost picked off by Corey Raymond. Incomplete pass.
Threw in the double coverage there, Kevin. He's hoping that he could just throw it up into the jump ball. They had good coverage on the whole way.
We've seen a lot of deep throwing today by Testaverde.
He's got the arm. He's got the powerful arm. Why does he play instead of the old Redskin? Got a better arm.
Did he take a bad knock, Jerry, down in Tampa in those 6 losing seasons with the Buccaneers?
You know, I think what happens to all quarterbacks, you can only be effective if you're surrounded by good players. You get a bad knock if you're in Tampa and they don't have enough players around you.
3rd down and 15. Testaverde has passed in every 3rd down play today, and this is no exception. Leads it to Metcalf. Metcalf needs to get to the 30. He gets to the 28. Gain of 13 on the play. Jesse Campbell came up and made the stop. And Cleveland has got a punt for the first time in 3 possessions.
Boy, he scares you, doesn't he, Kevin? When he gets that screen out in the open field, if you're coaching and you're on the other side, you're hoping somebody gets him down every play. He's a stand-up back. And by that, I used to say when he got the ball, everybody in the stands should stand up and watch him. He's worth the price of admission.
Well, watching this guy, Dave Meggett, #1 in the NFL in punt returns, will be something to watch. Tupa, the punt for Cleveland. And Meggett will return this one from the 24. Cleveland, by the way, allows the least yards on punt returns in the NFL. That was an 8-yard return on a 48-yard punt. Cleveland down by a point, 7-6.
For Bottler, Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered.
The holiday season is alive and well here in historic Cleveland Stadium, built back in 1931 with hopes of getting the Olympics to come here. They went out to Los Angeles instead, but one of the great stadiums in the NFL still remains. Here's our Aflac trivia question today. What team holds the record for most playoff appearances in NFL history? The 2 old line teams here. The Giants with their 3rd possession against the Browns defense. The defense allowing the fewest amount of points in the NFL. Brown has had a good day, and it continues that way with a 1st down pass to Howard Cross. Gain is 16, and the confidence of last week's mistakeless game by Brown showing here today.
This is our first bootleg. He's going to fake to your left, stick it on Hampton. You can't. There's my empty hand. Now come around and look for the tight end coming from the opposite side of the field. Where's the tight end? Where is he? I got you. Our first bootleg of the day. Howard Cross on the catch.
Very underrated. 1st down and 10 with the cross catch for the 1st down. At the 48 of the New York Giants. Through the hands of the twirling Aaron Pierce.
That was spooky. That's when you know you got a rookie. I like Dave Brown. I think he's got physical toughness. I think he's a special guy. He takes the blame, but he will throw a pick. And believe me, if you're sitting back there in New York on your couch, sit up and tell him, don't throw that slant into that crowd. That was close to being a pick.
You know, he changed that play last week and took it instead on a rollout in a big play late in the game against the Redskins. He does not like the slant.
That slant was spooky right there, folks. I promise you, that was close to Cleveland going the other way.
Brown, 2nd down and 10. Pumps it up. Hampton's got it. He needs to get to the 42. He's got the 1st down. Rodney Hampton inside the 35 to the Cleveland 34. Pickup of 23 yards on the play.
Now Cleveland used to be in a jet. He used to rush. This is Michael Dean Perry. They used to hit the gaps. Now they just sort of flowing. They're in a full. They got the man, and you don't get that pressure without hitting that gap. I think Michael Dean Perry is playing the man more than he is the space and running.
1st down and 10. And he is Callaway. Well, that thing was destined to be a failure from the beginning. They blow it dead. Jerry Markwright and his crew on it. His crew is one of the more experienced in postseason activity with Super Bowls and conference championships to their credit over the last 5-6 years.
I think if you got a big game, Kevin, you hope you get this crew.
On number 17, offense. Hold out without the football. Prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
The quarterback, he's saying, pulled out without the ball. Maybe he's going into motion. Sometimes you get the pull out to go to a, but you got one man in motion is why he couldn't do it. Good call by the officials.
Well, the penalty now makes it 1st down and 15. They push it back to the Cleveland Browns 40-yard line. Rashid and Hampton in the backfield. And this is Rodney Hampton. Bill Belichick told us yesterday, and we'll repeat it again, the one thing we've got to do is stop Rodney Hampton. They have not done it so far.
And he said that's the #1 thing. And they're back to that formation that they started the game in. You're going to see 2 tight ends, 2 backs, and 1 guy coming to motion the wideout, and they're going to try to pound it. We didn't get time to show that. Pound it. And people haven't had success pounding it at Cleveland. They're doing a good job.
Hampton today, 12 carries, 57 yards against a defense that has not allowed a 100-yard rusher all season. Nice play action by Brown. Looking for there's a penalty flag, looking for Chris Callaway. It will be on the Cleveland Browns.
No, they may call the penalty the other way.
Antonio Langham was there.
Pass interference, number 80.
Wow.
Offense. 10-yard penalty, second down.
A credit to the rookie Langham, and the veteran Callaway is called.
I think Callaway did a good thing because I think was going to be intercepted. I'm not so sure that he did not do the right thing here so they keep the football. That wasn't much of a push there.
The push by Langham is what I thought at the end was, but the ball was out of bounds, Jim.
Yeah, it's not catchable.
5 New York Giant penalties today, 4 on their offense.
Well, you know what happened? We went and bragged on the officiating crew. You know what happens when we brag on somebody? As soon as we brag on somebody, they do a bad job. It doesn't matter if it's a player, a quarterback, a DB, or an official. We're through bragging on them.
Dave Brown, who has his mom make all the clippings from the paper into a scrapbook that he'll look afterwards. He doesn't listen to the radio, doesn't watch TV, doesn't read the newspapers. He said that was one reason why he was able to get through that 7-game losing skid. Now Meggett is in the backfield. Second down, 17. Brown with a free down. Knocked away. 2 Cleveland defenders were back there, namely Isaac Booth and Eric Turner. And Stephen Moore was in the vicinity as well. Michael Dean Perry may have been offside.
Dave Brown came up to the line of scrimmage. He pointed to the blitzer. He pointed out who the center has.
Number 92, defense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Michael Dean Perry that time was in the gap, something he doesn't play a lot of unless he's over the nose. When you see him over the center, that's when he'll do a jump around, and he jumped too quick. But the quarterback picks up the blitzer for the center. All right, here's Michael Dean in the gap. He's going to jump through. The center's communicating with the quarterback as to who has who.
Right. Now it's second down and 12. Brown into traffic, but caught nonetheless by Mike Sherrard, who's caught a pass in every game this year for the New York Giants, a pickup of 10, and he literally threaded that ball between 2 oncoming Cleveland Brown defenders. That's
the spooky throw, the quick slant. That was crowded again. Remember we said just a little while ago, that's almost a pick. This one was too.
The heady quarterback, Dave Brown, coming off a good performance last week against Washington, facing the dog pound. It's the Giants 7-6. Quarterback Dave Brown for the New York Giants has had him a straight free game so far. He's thrown a touchdown pass, and his Giants lead 7-6.
When we talked to him, here's a guy that went to Duke from New York, played lacrosse, played soccer, but inside of him, his heart pumps gold. This is a tough, hard-nosed football player that loves to play this game.
Here's a 3rd and 3 on the Cleveland 28. Dave Brown, Kenyon Rashid, first down yardage, out of bounds, 23-yard line. And the clock is stopped at 1:55. Rashid has caught 3 passes today, and coming into today, he had caught 5 all season long.
Neither team is putting much pressure on the quarterback with the front 4. So all he has to do is sit there and wait for the back to get to the flat. And then Langham's over there struggling, a little late hit in the white there.
Giants lead by 1, 7-6. 1st and 10 inside the Cleveland 23. Pierce is 84. And Rodney Hampton, who has been a force and has been setting up those short passes with his running. Can't find much room there as the former 49er Don Griffin takes him down.
That's the third toss sweep, and all the results are the same. They had two tight ends next to each other. They had a lead back, and I think what you finally do, you say, okay, Rodney, no more tosses. That ain't going to work.
Hampton will now leave. Meggett will take his place with his 2nd down and 11 for quarterback Dave Brown. He'll throw it away, and a wise move by the young quarterback as double covered downfield was Mike Sherrard.
And a nice job. He looked right. He didn't like what he looked, so he looked right back to the left for his alternate route, and guess what? They had that, and he's getting better, mature, and he just throws it in out of everybody. His eyes, he's slowing down his eyes. His eyes have been too fast. Now he's looking around and says, I don't like it. I throw it away.
Those young quarterback eyes.
We heard about those last night, didn't we?
3rd down 11.
Young eyes, they see people covered too soon. You got to be patient and wait. Slow down your eyes.
Hampton and Meggett. 80 is Callaway. Brown, Meggett to the 21. And he has to get down near the 12.
Here Cleveland has to call timeout in case they kick a field goal. There's enough time for Cleveland to come back. So Cleveland jumped on the clock just like they should.
That's Cleveland's first time out of the game. The New York Giants have all 3 of theirs remaining. First half is winding down. The Giants lead 7-6. They're 2 of the toughest undercover cops in New York, but for their next assignment, detectives Williams and Torres are going to need a really good disguise. Catch a brand new episode of New York Undercover right after the all-new episodes of Martin and Living Single this Thursday on Fox.
I can't see you and me dressing up like that for the series.
I'll tell you what, the play of Rodney Hampton has dressed up the play of the New York Giants today, and here is David Treadwell, who for the Giants has missed his last 2, 3 of 5, and 4 of 7. This will be a 37-yarder. Holding Kent Graham. He's missed 3 in a row, and his first today. Treadwell was with Reeves in Denver. In fact, let's go back a couple years when Treadwell kicked 4 field goals as a Denver Bronco here in Cleveland Stadium to win the game 12-0. But he is in a slump, and no one can figure out why.
It can't get any uglier than this kick. It's a good placement, a good hole. It's tilted, and he's bent over a lot. He was really bent at the waist more than normal. I think he's overemphasizing not to look himself. Watch his body lean. He really bent after the kick trying to get the follow through.
He's now missed 3 straight. He has absolutely struggled in almost every facet from every range. Now the Browns are trying to take advantage of it, down by a point just before halftime. Vinny Testaverde, there's a flag, and an incompletion to Derek Alexander. Coverage by Jesse Campbell.
And that got crowded in there too, Kevin. You throw those inside routes when they're sitting back in the zone, and it gets crowded in a hurry.
Illegal formation foul on the offense. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Here's the answer now to our Aflac trivia question. What team holds the record for most playoff appearances in NFL history? Well, you look no further than today's game here in Cleveland. The New York Giants with 23, and ironically enough, the Cleveland Browns are right back of them with 22. With the penalty, first down and 15 for Testaverde and the Cleveland offense. Nice dump off. Caught by the tight end, Brian Kinchin. And he's out to about the 31-32. They need to get out to the 38 for the first down. Cleveland's got a couple timeouts, and that first half clock is ticking down. Doctors halftime on deck with James Brown and Terry Bradshaw. Scores and highlights from a very important day in the NFL. Leroy Horn.
Have to call a timeout. Stop the clock.
So Testaverde will go talk with Bill Belichick on the sideline with 26 seconds remaining in the half. Brown threw a touchdown pass on New York's first possession today to Aaron Pierce. Couple field goals, 7-6 New York. On top by a point. Big doubleheader next week. Minnesota, Buffalo will be Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Chicago at Green Bay, and the Rams against Tampa. And then, for most of you, the second part of the doubleheader will see San Francisco and San Diego, and the rest will watch the Redskins against the Arizona Cardinals. With some influence on the sideline and a paid employee of the Cleveland Browns, the legendary Jim Brown.
I used to watch him play. I went into the Tiger Stadium in 1957 and watched the championship with him and Joe Schmidt. How about those two battling each other? You talk about having a chance to see two Hall of Famers. I don't think there'll ever be anybody any better than those two.
Pittsburgh has won today, so Cleveland, if they want to stay on track with the Steelers and co-lead the division, must beat the Giants. They got a third one in. And Vinny Testaverde will take it himself, and a flag thrown on the near side.
Vinny's voice brought one of the Giants off sides. A good job with a hard count. He came with a hard 2, the second hut.
Testaverde with the carry. Earlier this season, he had 2 concussions, Jerry, within 8 days of one another.
Offside, number 74, defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Eric Howard on the line for the New York Giants for Dan Reeves.
Listen to the count. A real hard 2. He'd go hut, hut. That second one, he'd bark out, and here they come.
So new life for the Cleveland Browns with 23 seconds remaining before halftime and trailing by a point. On their own 43, first and 10. Testaverde wanting to go deep, and he's looking for Michael Jackson. And the coverage all over him by Thomas Randolph, who has been a young star in the secondary for the New York Giants.
No pressure whatsoever on the quarterback. No pressure. Got a flag on the play. 3-man rush lets the quarterback stand and feel it out. I always thought that the pressure was as important as the coverage with these less than a minute left. You got to send at least 4.
On number 66, offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's left tackle Tony Jones.
He shouldn't have to hold when they got 3 people coming. He should be able to get help from his guard. A bad time to be holding when you got just 3 people coming after the quarterback.
Now down to 16 seconds remaining in the first half, and the Giants with their full allotment, timeout category. Cleveland down to their final one. First down and 20 with the penalty for the Cleveland Browns.
Giants are back to the 4-man rush on this play.
A lot of secondary people facing Vinny Testaverde. There's Leroy Horde. He needs to get to the 47 of New York. And it gets close to midfield. Tackled by Jesse Armstead. Gain of 17 on the play. Clock stopped. 8 seconds left for Testaverde.
Well, we defend the end zone here. If you're a Giant sitting at home, let them do anything they want, but just back everybody up. Get it back in there. This is the last play. No pass interference, nothing in the end zone.
Second down and 3. Coleman Rudolph, a former Jet, picked up off the waiver wire by the Giants, digging in. And what should be the final play of the half, knocked down defensively by Corey Miller. 4 seconds left, so the Giants keep it alive, and Browns will get one more play.
Corey fooled him on that a little bit. He looked like a pass rusher. He was set up like a left end coming after, and he just dropped off into the flat. You'll see him right here like a pass rusher. Oh, he kept on coming, and the guard pulled out on him and got a tip and a deflection.
They're going to take Leroy Horde now out of that backfield. Belichick will insert Eric Metcalf on this 3rd and 3 play. 4 seconds left, and 5 players about 25 yards off the line of scrimmage for the Giants.
It's a pitch, the lateral.
And a fumble, and recovered by Miller. And that's the way the Giants end the first half. The Cleveland Browns and Vinny Testaverde were favored by over a touchdown today against the New York Giants. The Browns had won 3 of 4. The Giants had won 2 consecutive games. And the Giants, trying to stay in first place, tried to do some razzle-dazzle on that play.
Here's the hook and lateral away from the 3 wideouts running down the field. Pitched it a little bit behind Metcalf. Not a bad play when you got a Metcalf, and that was done away from the 3 wideouts, which made it look like a big bend on the other side of the field.
So the Browns walk off. You know, next week they play the Dallas Cowboys, Jared. Could they be looking past the New York Giants?
No, I don't think so. The bottom line in the National Football League is everybody can play, and the other team's getting paid too. And really, if the Giants kicker could kick, they'd be sitting in a real good position right now. And right now, because of the missed field goal, Cleveland is hanging right in there.
I think that picture sums it up when the Giants and the Browns get together. Both teams scored on their first possession. The New York Giants had a long drive and then a 10-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Dave Brown to Aaron Pierce. And the Giants, who will wind up a 3-game road trip and go home next week to take on Cincinnati for their first home game in a month, have a 7-6 lead over the Cleveland Browns. And again, the noteworthy thing about Cleveland's position right now at 9-3, they're a half game back of first place Pittsburgh, which today demolished the Cincinnati Bengals. The New York Giants are looking above them, and they see Dallas with the win over Philadelphia. And the Giants, who still mathematically are involved in the playoff picture, even the smallest of hopes, is what Coach Dan Reeves told us last night will help these 4 games produce some good performances and gives them a chance to take a look at some young talent like Thomas Randolph, and we saw with the long coverage play late in the first half. And again, the nice play for Dave Brown. He has not thrown an interception, but he was right on target there to Aaron Pierce with a touchdown. Stay tuned for the Dockers halftime after this from your local station. Welcome back to Cleveland Stadium, where the New York Giants, who have won 2 consecutive games, lead the Cleveland Browns 7-6. Time now for our first half highlight, brought to you by MCI Proof Positive. It was on the Giants' first possession of the game.
The only touchdown of the game, and Brown is looking to his right. You'll see Pepper Johnson jump the back, crossing over, and it opens up the tight end behind him, Pierce, for the touchdown.
Nice throw by the young Giants quarterback, who again today has not made any mistakes. Like last week in Washington, he was mistake-free then, and the same is true now with Jerry Glanville, Kevin Harlan. A meaningful game for both teams. The New York Giants are trying to beat their 2nd winning team of the season and stay involved in the playoff picture, while the Cleveland Browns right now are attempting to stay on the track that has been laid ahead of them by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Arthur Marshall, a former Denver Bronco, takes it out to the 32-yard line, and the New York Giants will get it. Tackle made by Eric Turner. Some of the first half statistics with the Browns and Giants.
One thing you wonder about is, where is Horde? Horde usually takes over in the second quarter. Well, now we're in the second half. I think Horde for Cleveland has to get back in this game for them to play like they want to play.
But no wondering where Rodney Hampton is. He has been a story. Close to 60 yards on the day against a defense that has not given up a 100-yard rushing game by an individual all season. And here's Rodney Hampton. And he busts free. He needs to get to the 42, and he's out to the 36. And a gain on the play of 5.5 yards, tackled by Stephen Moore.
Most backs would not gain yardage on that play. He goes after contact. When you see left, he's got 11 carries for 53 yards. Up the middle, just 2. To the right, 0, none. So he's running left, but he cuts her back. He went after contact on that play, Kevin.
Elliott is still out, so Greg Bishop is the left tackle and Roberts the left guard. 2nd down and 5. Nice fake by Brown. First sack today by either team. Anthony Pleasant gets his 2nd sack of the season.
Ordinarily, Jumbo Elliott would be blocking him, but Jumbo's not in the game. Watch 98. And he'll jerk and come inside, pull his arm inside, jerk the tackle to the outside, and that's the first sack of the ball game.
He's been hit a lot. And Anthony Pleasant, along with the guy on the other side of that line, Rob Burnett, have made a big difference on the defensive line. Here's a 3rd and 10. And they're coming at Brown. They'll buy some time. A little bit high for wide receiver Chris Callaway. Incomplete pass. Brown picks himself off the turf. Rob Burnett was there. 3 and out for the New York Giants.
And there's pressure this time. They're dogging, they're blitzing, they're coming after him. get a little jump and a hit on the quarterback, Rob Burnett. He's their best pass rusher.
And the second punt today by Mike Harlan, who is not kicking with power to certain spots on the field, which is his specialty. You just saw 21, Eric Metcalf, been waiting. Good hang time. Metcalf from the 25. Jesse Armstead wraps him up. No gain on the 43-yard punt by Harlan, and a good one it was. How will the Cleveland Browns respond? They're down by a point. We're in the third quarter.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Microsoft. Where do you want to go today? By Hager, 100% cotton and wool casual clothing. Hager, stuff you can wear. And by 3DO, the most advanced home gaming system in the universe.
Cleveland offense has been a bit frosty for Coach Bill Belichick, and now he's looking for maybe some revampment of that in the second half. Giants have done a nice job defensively, holding Vinny Testaverde and the offense to 2 field goals. Here's their first second half possession, 1st and 10. Leroy Horde. Now he comes to life. Galloping to the 42, pickup of 17 on the play, tackled by John Booty.
And we were wondering, where was Leroy Horde? Where is he? He's the guy that's got to carry the team with the run. Watch him break to the right and avoid the second. The secondary man was getting ready for the crack. Bad job by the safety. He was going to fight the crack, and Horde went to his inside, made a miss.
Focus is on Leroy Horde, who's taken the place of the injured Tommy Vardell. In the last 4 weeks, Horde has come to play. First down and 10. Horde again. This time he doesn't fool the Giants, but Horde nonetheless digs out a couple, carves out a couple. Michael Brooks was there, and he outdueled Steve Everett on the line.
Watch Steve Everett right here, number 61. A lot of people thought coming out of Michigan, the best center in football. Look at him push and shove. How about that block? Take Eric Howard all the way out of the frame of the game. Nice job by what is a real dynamite center.
2nd down and 9 now for the Cleveland Browns, who continue to trail by 1. Testaverde to put it up. And he's got his receiver, and he's got a first down. Derek Alexander to the Giants 45. Then a pickup of 13.
Testaverde's pass completed to Derek Alexander.
4 catches now for the Michigan product, Derek Alexander.
First half, when in doubt, throw the curl. Get a man in the flat, get a guy to the inside. When in doubt, throw the curl. Vinny's got the arm. There's the turn in, gun it. Like picking a chicken wing. Throw the curl, when in doubt, to the 3-man side.
And the handoff, Eric Metcalf, tackled by Keith Hamilton.
He was lucky he got the ball there, Kevin. I think the quarterback was late, or the back went wider than the quarterback thought. Testaverde went to hand the ball and then had to take off running to get it to him.
You and I were talking the other day about Vinny Testaverde, Jerry, and the fact that he handles the ball so well. And it was a thing he learned down in Tampa from Steve DeBerg, who really could pull off that play action.
Nobody could run a fake like Steve DeBerg. And you saw Vinny learn from that, what he was doing down there in Tampa.
Now he's got it 2nd and 8. Let's see if we see a bit of that trickery here. Little play action indeed. That was a DeBerg type play. Intercepted. Picked off on the play by Michael Brooks. And a fumble on the hit, and Cleveland gets it back at the 50. Oh, wait a minute. Do they give it back to the Giants? Keith Hamilton may have recovered the ball, and the Giants get it back. And the 2nd turnover for the Cleveland Browns.
Throwing over the middle in the deep drop. Not a lot of pressure again on the quarterback. Late pressure. Whoa, he just threw it too low. Didn't have enough air on the ball. Good pick off by Michael Brooks. Now you got to hang on the football. Cover it up here. Get your other hand on it. Good job by the Browns knocking it out.
That's the first interception for Michael Brooks since 1992. And the Cleveland Browns get their offense off the field, and Dave Brown and the Giants are back on. A little short. Brown looking for Pierce. This is the best beginning field position Brown in the offense all evening long.
Not a good throw by Dave Brown. You got to loosen up. He came out the second half, and something's wrong there. He throws the ball better than that. He wasn't being too cautious. He didn't have any mustard on that ball like he normally does. Got to loosen him up a little bit on the sideline before he comes in the game.
Yeah, what are the thoughts of Testaverde?
He's wondering how that linebacker jumped up underneath that thing. One thing about Cleveland, they don't ask the quarterback to win the game. You win with the quarterback, not because of him.
Here's a 2nd down and 10. Callaway is in. Good time for Brown. Nice look off, and it goes to Meggett. He needs to get to the 41. Flag is thrown on the play as he's ushered out of bounds at the 46. Meggett did not catch a pass last week against the Redskins. That's a penalty against the New York Giants.
Good job by Frank Stams making a play.
Number 78, offense. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Making a play on Meggett in space like that. Here's the guy that replaced Jumbo Elliott. Ordinarily, Jumbo would be in there. Bishop's in there trying to take his spot. He's got the quarterback in trouble, and he's got a couple of penalties. That's what happens when your backups come in. They don't get a lot of play with the first team, but you got to count on them playing well.
His dad played in Pacific as a tight end in the mid-60s, and Bishop was a 4th-round pick out of Pacific last year for Dan Reeves and George Young. Dave Brown now 2nd down and 20. And David Meggett. Nowhere to go. Loss of about a yard. Antonio Langham out of Alabama.
Rob Burnett, he doesn't have the stats, but their coaching staff thinks he's probably as good a defensive lineman as they have. Doesn't have the sacks that Anthony Pleasant has, but they think he plays real good.
Well, Jerry, we said that defense was the trademark of Cleveland all season. Looks like their defense may have to do some damage in the second half.
They may have to score.
3rd down and 20 for Brown.
All-out blitz, Kevin.
A little bit short. Arthur Marshall was in the sights of Brown, who again has to peel himself off the floor.
More wideouts, Kevin. When you get all the wideouts, watch the people. They're going to come. We don't have them in the screen. They're going to come off the slots, plus the man inside. Watch both angles. Here they come. They're pressuring. Bad throw, but he's being chased and harassed.
2nd consecutive 3-and-out for the New York Giants, and Harlan with a 3rd punt.
The Giants just look a little bit out of sync right now, and maybe that's because of the Browns' defense. They don't look like they did the first half either, Kevin.
No, they don't. Metcalf is deep back for Cleveland. Schreiber, the center to Harlan. And it's almost blocked. A whistle blew. A flag has been thrown. The play is dead. And Mike Caldwell came ranging into Mike Harlan.
They had a blocked punt. If he'd have got a piece of the ball, then you can do anything you want to the punter. If you touch the ball, you can run all over the punter, but I think he missed the ball entirely. They may be talking for another 2 hours before they figure this one out. I hate it when they all fold their arms. That's what your mama used to do when she scolded you. Folded her arms, and you knew you were in trouble.
Mark Bright and crew continue to find some kind of answer, as it was almost blocked by Mike Caldwell of the Cleveland Browns on Mike Harlan.
After all that, his mic is dead.
There he goes. Thank you, Jerry.
There was a delay of game called. There was also a personal foul, which is not negated on number 56 for roughing the kicker. That means we have a 5 and the 15-yard penalty. We will penalize the defense 15 yards. It's a 1st down.
What a big play for the New York Giants.
You break a guy clean, you're trying to win the game, and I believe this is him right out here, all bunched in. Number 50, no, that's 31. 56 is right here. He sneaks through, he's got the ball, he misses the ball and hits the punter right on the knee. That's the penalty. If you touch the punter, without hitting the ball, you're going to get the penalty. Now, remind you, if you touch the ball, all bets are off. You can do anything you want to the punter other than hit him in the head.
Harlan has had 1 blocked already this season. Already 15 penalties between the Giants and Bill Belichick's Cleveland Browns. And they're going to go over and explain it to him one more time.
The key is they took too much time. So the play that they were going to get penalized, they ran out of time, the Giants. So you wouldn't think you'd be able to get a penalty. But if you get a personal foul, it doesn't matter if the play's live or not. A personal foul is a personal foul.
So far, New York has about 200 yards total offense, and the Browns have about 210. So a very even game in terms of yards for both offensive units.
I wish the Giants would come back like they did so good the first half with the 2 tights and the 2 backs and do what they were doing early in the game. They sort of got away from that's when they looked like they had a little bit of rhythm.
Maybe some adjustments by the Cleveland defense.
You got to give them credit. They know how to adjust too.
Double tight ends, Cross and Pierce for Dave Brown. Hampton is the back. Callaway is in motion. Play action by Brown. A good fake. He's got to get down to the 37. He's out of bounds at the 42. And he picks up on the play about 5.5, 6 yards. Bill Johnson ushers Brown out of bounds.
This is our second bootleg of the game, but he couldn't find what he was looking for. Watch the fake to the run to our right. Do the fake, and now roll out to our left and look for the drag. Where is he? Where is he? The tight end didn't get out. Somebody grabbed him, so he had to pull it down and run. He was smart. There was no place to throw it.
Dave Brown, who probably feels he gained some character during that 7-game losing skid. A lot of heart. A lot of people that cover the New York Giants all the time say that he is the same as he was the first 3 weeks of the season when they won 3 in a row.
If you're a Giant fan, you better like this guy because he's tough. He's hard-nosed. I was on the elevator with him. I said, you can't get the Duke out of you. You got on a necktie, but he's a tough guy.
Rodney Hampton on 2nd down and 5, and he had to get near the 37. Down at the 38, Pepper Johnson, old teammate of Rodney Hampton's, makes the stop.
Don't forget with the quarterback, with Dave Brown, you promised you'd get him better basketball seats.
He's a big Knicks fan.
And a season ticket holder. And you promised him you could move him out of that upper deck. Get him down in there closer to the field.
Sits up in the blue section, he says, at Madison Square Garden. He's a huge Knicks fan. He said anything we could do to help his positioning, he'd be grateful for it. 3rd down and a couple. Brown again to the 37 for a first. He may have got it. Almost had his head ripped off by Pepper Johnson. James Jones was on his tail to the far sideline.
Play action pass, couldn't find a receiver. There's the fake to Hampton. He's looking, doesn't like that. He knows where he's got to go for the first down, and here comes the ex-Giant Pepper trying to disengage his head from his body.
Some people say he may be a different quarterback too in terms of poise, Jerry. From early in the season, he went through a lot, knocked out in Houston, got benched against Arizona. So maybe going through all that, he's gone through a pretty good cycle in his first full year as a starter.
What they're going to allow him to do is improvise. What he was doing in the past, doing everything like it was drawn up in the book. And when you get out in the game, first down, everything isn't like it's in the book. Sometimes you got to make something up and find somebody else. If you turn this guy loose and just let him go play and be loosey-goosey with him, I think you got yourself a real good quarterback. You got a guy you're starting off with what's inside of him everybody needs, and that's physical and mental toughness. When you get knocked out twice in 8 days, though, I wish they'd make him wear a mouthpiece. That keeps you from getting knocked out the 3rd time.
Brown's got a pretty good drive going right now for his New York Giants. Of course, the roughing the punter penalty kept it alive. 7th play of the New York drive, and they've got it first down, 10 to go. Brown to the air. Got it down. Incomplete pass. He was getting hit from all sides.
Had a free rusher coming from his right. Cleveland gives you enough things on defense that you got to find who's coming and why. They're treating Banks as the outside backer. They're treating Pepper Rogers as the middle backer, even in the nickel scheme. Pepper Johnson. There's Pepper. The quarterback will point and find him. They treat him as the MAC backer when the nickel package is in there.
Brown has not completed a pass this second half. He's got it 2nd down and 10. Brown again. Threw it away. complete. Pulled down by Rob Burnett. Incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd and 10 for Brown.
The dog pound is screaming they want a grounding, but they're not going to get it. They thought it was a grounding.
Reeves calling the plays from the sideline.
Much better pressure on the quarterback. This is with 4 people.
Your attention, please. Joe Weber, please call your...
Rob Burnett, their best guy. He's all over him. Michael Dean Perry not playing flow that time. Hitting the gap. Here they came.
3rd down and 10.
Better hurry. 4 seconds.
He just called the timeout. He had Meggett stationed in the backfield. And Dave Brown will go visit with Dan Reeves on the New York Giants sideline. Holding on still. There was 7-6 lead over Cleveland. One of the great football cities in America, Cleveland, Ohio, with one of the great places to play, Cleveland Stadium. Giants on top. Next week, our NFL Fox special pregame show begins at 12 noon. And that's right before the Detroit Lions take on the Jets with huge playoff implications. That's next Saturday on Fox. Here's a big play for the Giants. 3rd and 10 from the Cleveland 37.
They're coming after him, Kevin. Coming after the quarterback.
Dave Brown hit as he threw. It'll be intercepted. Picked off by Eric Turner. First interception today. First interception in 2 games for Brown. And a mistake that Dan Reeves said could not occur against Cleveland.
And it looks like Cleveland's doing a good job when they go after the quarterback. You'll watch these people. They're all blitzing. On the loop, Pepper Johnson coming up inside. He felt the heat. Bad throw.
Trying to throw it away, it appeared.
Yeah, I think he did too.
And he was off his heel too, Jerry.
Going backwards. They had a gain about 7 yards to get in field goal, and right now you can't count on the field goal.
How about Turner? His coach says he may be the NFL defensive MVP. Now let's see how the Browns respond. 1st and 10. And they go to Leroy Hoard. Hamilton, Corey Raymond, double team him. Gain of about a half yard on the play. Well, Dave Brown had a great first half, one that we were talking about during the half. In the second half, he has not completed a pass to his own guy.
Well, he hadn't been back in that formation either. Remember the 2 tights and 2 backs,
right,
and 1 wideout, and he could hit the running backs coming out of the backfield.
What did that do? It made him think run or pass, kept him on edge? Or?
I think that, you know, they had something going there. They haven't come back to it. Maybe Cleveland made such a good adjustment they don't want to come back to it.
Metcalf by himself in the backfield with a 2nd down and 9 for Testaverde. They've got the Giants offside. Eric Metcalf steps it out to the 43. Another penalty in a game that has been littered with penalties. We're at the 6:22 mark of the 3rd quarter. Cleveland Stadium. They expect some rain here later tonight. But it's unseasonably warm at about 55 degrees and hardly a breath of wind inside this great structure.
Offside, number 74, defense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Eric Howard picked and tagged for the 2nd time.
And that's the quarterback. That's Vinny. Vinny's drawing them off with the voice, doing a great job. Look at this stands. Look at this stadium. When I was coaching the National Football League, if you had to go on the road, this is where you wanted to be. The fans love football. They make all kinds of noise, and it's just fun to be here. I wish we had a little snow, then it'd be even more fun.
It'd be a lot of fun. Place where the Beatles have played, and Max Schmeling has boxed, and all the great years from 1950 to 1969. The Browns and the Giants, great matchups, great rivalry back then. Hoard. Leroy Hoard, flag thrown. Leroy Hoard being chased down, but he gets inside the Giant 20-yard line. Thomas Randolph got him. Last week it was Randolph getting Irvins from behind and saving a touchdown.
Booty was on a blitz. John Booty came coming out of the secondary, and maybe they had to grab a hold of him. Maybe that was the hold. Booty was in a full-speed blitz against the run. Watch 41.
Number 62.
Watch him come right from
offense.
here.
10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
There he is in the hole. Oh, he should have made that tackle. Bad job by Booty. When you're in the blitz and you're free, you got to make the hit. Where's Hoard been? Where's Hoard? Feed the stud.
I don't know. He just gave up a 41-yard gain. It would have been a season long for Leroy Hoard.
All right, they call 62 right there. He's got him in a sort of a turnaround. They got him wrestled up.
Bob Dahl is the right guard, Jerry.
And on Eric Howard, the guy that's been jumping off sides.
Absolutely. 2nd down and 14. Giant defense is hung tough against a pretty good offense today. Testaverde. Metcalf. Fumble on the play, and the Giants have recovered. The 3rd turnover today by the Cleveland Browns. Jerry, last night in the meeting, you said it had to be a 4-turnover game for the Giants to win it.
Absolutely. Here, Jesse Campbell's playing a game. I haven't seen Jesse play this good. Jesse will not surrender. He misses the tackle, comes back after him, and people said to me last night, how in the world can the Giants beat him? I said, they're going to have to get about 4 turnovers to be able to play with the Cleveland Browns.
Jesse Campbell forced his 2nd fumble of the season, and Willie Beeman, 21, he's the guy that jumped on it. So the Giants are alive inside the Cleveland 32 with a 1-point lead in the 3rd quarter. A 6 lead to the Giants, but turnovers by Cleveland have continued to resuscitate the New York Giants. On our Budweiser game summary, they have not stopped Rodney Hampton, who's got 64 yards and a double tight end. Brown back to pass. After being picked off the last time, he's got Sherrard. Mike Sherrard at the 6, make it the 7. 1st and goal to go for the New York Giants, a pickup of 25.
Now, that was not a good pass. That was an ugly throw, and Sherrard does a great job. That's what you call body control. Watch him run down. It's on a little slight post court. Now, the ball's the other way. Turn back around, reach and stretch out. That's body control on an ugly pass.
He's thrown to Sherrard 4 times. He's connected 4 times. 1st and goal to go with Hampton and Rashid in the backfield. Brown, Rashid, Kenyon Rashid to the 5. Stephen Moore made the first lick at him.
And Kevin, that's the first time since the first half they came back with 2 tights and 2 backs. You sitting at home and running where it's been. Here's your 2 tight ends, 2 backs, 1 wideout. That's what made it successful in the first half. And they're pulling up through, bringing the backside guard, Lance Smith.
And those double tight ends give more muscle up front.
And they were throwing out of that. That's where he had the good stats. They were throwing out of that formation in the first half. They're back in it right now.
2nd down, goal to go at the 5. Galloway is 80. Brown to throw. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage. Rob Burnett pushed him out of bounds.
He did not want to get into trouble. Remember, he threw the pick the last time. He did the play action, and he knew it was open, but it wasn't open to any amount. So the quarterback's learning. Looking at 80, looking at 80. Where's Chris Callaway? Doesn't like it. I'll just run here and don't do anything foolish. Although, I can't tell you they're in field goal range with the kicker the kind of year he's having.
Treadwell has missed already today. Here's a 3rd and goal. Ball at the Cleveland 5. Dave Brown, quarterback keeper. He scored on that same play against the Vikings on Monday night at the Meadowlands, but that time he's thrown for a loss of a couple. As Stephen Moore read it well, the former Miami Dolphin.
And Rob Reddick. I believe they were in a dog, and you don't know they're going to dog. So when you call that quarterback draw, if they're man-to-man, it opens up, and you can run. But Cleveland wasn't doing that. Cleveland was sitting right in there. There's Moore saying, I'm waiting on you. Come on.
And now DeLuiso will take the place at Treadwell.
Well, we got a new kicker. Now, this guy, I hate to say, he missed an extra point when he was with me. They put the thrill back in the short field goal.
On the 26-yard attempt, the Giants put up 3 more points. So they come out of that with something. On the fumble by the Cleveland Browns, who are on their knees right now as the Giants, on the DeLuiso 3, have a nice lead.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered.
Downtown Cleveland, Ohio. Very festive. Giants right now are celebrating. They've got a 10-6 lead over the Cleveland Browns, a first-place team coming into today. Kickoff by DeLuiso. And will it sneak in? There's the flag. It's out of bounds. And that stings. after DeLuisa just kicked the field goal.
Free kick out of bounds will be put in play on the 40-yard line by rule.
You don't see it much, Jerry, but when it comes back to bite you, it's got some teeth to the bite. Speaking of that, last 3 possessions for the Cleveland Browns, the fumble before the half or right at the half, and then the only 2 second-half possessions where the Cleveland Browns have resulted in the interception and the fumble.
We said last night that was the Giants' chance. They had to take away the ball. They had to get the, either the fumble or the interception. I think the Browns still, with Horde in there and what they can do, the score is close enough that, it hadn't gotten away from them, even though they're turning the ball over. The game has not gotten away from them.
Let's see what Cleveland's got going, and let's see if the Giants can continue to be opportunistic on defense on a 1st and 10. Running hard, Leroy Horde. Nice tackle by Corey Raymond, who came up from his cornerback.
Well, Derek Alexander, the Browns wide receiver, he's got to get involved. When Horde bounces it outside, he's hitting him right now. He just hit him on the back. Derek, you got to help me, darling. You got to block a wide out. He didn't do anything.
In a running offense, you've got to have that receiver doing more than just catching passes.
Well, I'm really impressed with Horde. He went over, and that's the guy he knew. He knew who didn't help him. He went over, hit him on the back, and probably said, how about a little help, brother?
2nd down and 10 for Vinny Testaverde. Double tight ends, Kinchin and Harlan. Testaverde, screen pass to Horde. Effort with the block. But the Giants play it well, and Marcus Buckley read it well. Reading a very busy day in the NFL is our James Brown for this McDonald's Game Break. James?
Hey, Kevin, and a busy one scoring-wise in Pontiac, Michigan. Take a look at Brett Favre dropping back. Fade pattern as he finds Anthony Morgan, 47-yard on the mark. And Green Bay out in front of Detroit, 31-24. Back to Cleveland. Kevin Harlan, Jerry Glanville.
Packers had played at Buffalo and lost. They played Thanksgiving in Dallas and lost. Now they're playing in Detroit, and they're leading in the 4th quarter. 3rd down and 12 for Testaverde. And Vinny to his 2nd option, which is Leroy Horde. And not letting go as he got a hold of that ankle was Jesse Armstead. And the Browns have got a punt, and Armstead and the defense came up with a big play.
Jesse does not start with the normal defense, but he's the guy in the nickel. Watch 98. He's right here, and he's got a man-to-man. Here he comes outside. You got to come on. And now he fires and makes the tackle outside in. All of his help's inside of him, so he stays to the guys outside, and that's just what he did. He played the funnel. Did a good job.
Giants.
He's the guy in the nickel. Here's
the punt now by Tom Tupa. Deep back is Meggett from the 30 as he looks into the lights. And a gain of 2. They get a yard on the 34-yard punt. Our 3rd quarter clock at 1:08. And now Dave Brown, can he sustain the momentum of the Giants? Heather Locklear and Dennis Miller host the 1994 Billboard Music Awards. This Wednesday, join the hottest name in rock, pop, country, and R&B for the biggest music event on television. 1994 Music Awards this Wednesday at 8/7 Central on the Fox Television Network with Jerry Glanville. That is not Jerry Glanville. That's part of the dog pound. With Jerry Glanville, Kevin Harlan, Dave Brown, and the Giants lead by 4. We're late in the 3rd. 1st and 10. They got a field goal their last possession. Rodney Hampton, quiet man in the 2nd half. Submarines his way out to about the 34, and Frank Stams is there. This game is presented by authority of the NFL and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or the use of the telecast without the express written consent of Mr. Modell and the Cleveland Browns and the NFL is prohibited. Giants have got a field goal and a touchdown pass. Brown got it on the opening possession to Aaron Pierce. 2nd down and 8 here. Brown for the tight end, Howard Cross. And Howard Cross drags the defender, Stephen Moore, on his back to the 39 and about 2-3 yards shy of the 1st. Short passes now, Jerry. We saw that in the 1st half with great effectiveness for Dave Brown.
He was hitting those backs. The Cleveland Browns do not call a dog or a blitz in the huddle. They dog the formation. When they shifted the back over, they all shifted over. So they shifted, and watch, there's the shift. That's because the back moved, and that brings the dog.
And who's making that read?
The linebackers have to see it and call the dog after the shift. So they don't get in the huddle and say, we're going to blitz the outside backer. They say dog the formation, and when he moved from the right behind the quarterback away, then they had nobody left to pick him up. That's what's going on.
Giants have won 2 in a row. And the Cleveland Browns trying to stay on pace with the first place Pittsburgh Steelers. 10-6 the score. Giants on top. And we'll continue on Fox NFL Sunday after this. Downtown Cleveland, Ohio. Brand new arena for the NBA Cavaliers. Brand new baseball stadium for the Major League Baseball Indians, but the same old address for the Cleveland Browns. Here's a 3rd and 3 in the first play of the 4th quarter. The blitz is on, and down goes Brown. 4th sack today. Don Griffin, the former San Francisco 49er. And the Giants have got a punt.
Dog the formation. Dog the formation.
You just talked about it.
Just talked about it. He's coming in motion to your right. There's motion which turns that guy loose. That was his signal to you go ahead. You're the free dogger. That's what they're doing to the New York Giants. Good job by the Cleveland Browns. Good scheme.
Well, we thought special teams may play a prominent role in the game, and here's Eric Metcalf on the Harlan punt. And a good punt by Harlan. To the 18, Metcalf, and there's a big special teams tackle on the play on the 52-yard punt by Willie Beeman. He's already recovered a fumble today. 10-6 the Giants.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, where safety, reliability, performance, and value are never optional. By Apple Computer, makers of Macintosh personal computers for business, home, and education. And by Red Dog, bold yet smooth, unusually easy to drink. This is Red Dog territory.
55 degrees, a little threat of rain in the air. We're just about 30 seconds into the 4th quarter. The dog pound is loving it. Vinny Testaverde's got his hands full. He's down 10-6 at his own 18, 1st and 10. And Leroy Horde. And for Bo Schembechler of Michigan and a couple of Rose Bowls for the Wolverines. That time spins for a gain of about 6, and Michael Brooks, the leading tackler. Got some help from Corey Widmer.
The defenses have really taken over the second half. This game has changed dramatically from the first half. The defenses on both sides are stopping the offense.
Adjustments at halftime.
Must have made adjustments, and what the Giants are doing now, they're playing for a pass. They're playing for deep.
2nd down. Horde has to get to the 28 as the flag is thrown. Gets to the 26. Corey Widmer was there at the tackle. Giants wearing their throwback uniforms today. They're 3-1 in those uniforms this season.
I like the throwback uniforms on certain teams. I like the Giants. You wonder how the Redskins and the Giants ever got rid of these uniforms.
Penalty against the Cleveland Browns. Seems like we've had 2 different games here today. The offense commanded the first, and Jerry, as you accurately say, the defense has had a huge influence in the second.
Look at the second half. The Giants have gained 30 yards and Cleveland 37. Then you come back to the first half. The defenses from both sides have just taken over this football game.
Penalties have been prominent today as well. 2nd down, 14 for Testaverde. Pressure is on. Pass incomplete. Knocked down by Stacy Dillard.
I think he's going to call. There wasn't a receiver there that he threw to a lineman. I don't think Testaverde wanted the ball to come out of his hand. I think in the middle of the throw he said, I don't like this, and he was trying to hold it and trying to throw it. They're going to call that he was throwing to a guy that was not eligible, I believe.
Defensive performance of the Giants may be surprising some people.
When you looked at the stats before, they're 27th, they're 28th, they're 21st. They're not in the top of anything on defense, so they're doing a remarkable job today.
There's no foul on the play. It's an incompleted pass. 3rd down.
They call this that he wasn't throwing it to an ineligible receiver. I think he was
out of his hands.
Yeah, I know. I think he was going to throw it. He says, I don't like it. I better hold on to it. And it came out.
Well, it's 3rd down and 14 now, and on every one of the 8 third downs that Testaverde has faced today, he is thrown. Well, this one no different. Pressure is on. Being chased by Hamilton. Being chased by Howard. Intercepted again. off by Jesse Campbell. His first interception this season. And for the Cleveland Browns in turnovers today, as a flag sits back at the 9, we'll hold it right here. It's holding against Cleveland. It is a turnover to the New York Giants.
First down.
4th turnover today on the Cleveland quarterback and the Cleveland offense.
He got flushed out of the pocket, started running. Jesse Campbell was clear over on the other side of the field, came with the wideout, kept drifting, kept drifting. Now Jesse was on the other side of the field in the deep half. Wow.
Alexander is 85, and he had some room.
Good job by Jesse Campbell. He's made some plays, knocked the ball loose for a fumble, picked one off. I don't know if he's played any better. There's Coach Belichick saying, where are you throwing that ball?
You said that Cleveland had to turn it over 4 times to the Giants for New York to have a chance. And 4 is where they are.
That's the first time I've been right in about 5 years, you know.
Right on the money on that one. Play action by Brown. Going deep. Almost picked off by Don Griffin. Almost caught on the deflection by Mike Sherrard. Incomplete pass.
Excellent coverage by Don Griffin. Here's a guy did not even play defensive back in college and come on and be one of the best in the league, in the National Football League.
First time he has missed going to Sherrard today. He had been 4 of 4.
Look at that coverage. You talk about being smothered.
Second down and 10 outside the Cleveland 35. Double tight ends with Pierce across. Pierce is 84. And Hampton is 27. Down to the 32-yard line. Good handoff to Hampton. We hand it off now to James Brown for this McDonald's game break. James?
All right, Kevin, the battle down in Houston between 2 coaches who know the 46th defense. Hey, but guess who comes out ahead here? Buddy Ryan's Jay Schrader finds Gary Clark. That's a familiar combination from back in Washington. Cardinals on top 18-12. Cardinals headed back inside the 20. Back to Kevin.
Thank you, James. Hampton is left. That back is still acting up on him. Here's a 3rd down and 7. Downs and make it in the backfield. James Brown. Interference. It should be no call. It was for Sherrard. They'll say they were both going for the ball. The coverage by Isaac Booth. Close call, Jerry?
Well, what gets me there, you're in field goal range and it's a 3rd down. I don't know why you're going to the end zone. You know, throw a pass. You got yourself in pretty good position right here. Both of them playing football.
It's like they're both going for the ball.
Right.
Pretty good call.
He's got his head back. As long as you got your head
Yes.
back, just pretend like you're seeing the ball and they'll let you push and shove a little bit. Now, if you're in field goal range, do you bring in Delouiso? Do you punt and when they'll probably get the ball back at the 20?
Delouiso has kicked a 49-yard field goal.
And how much
This
do you
season.
gain? How much do you gain by punting, Kevin?
You don't gain much at all. I'm wondering here if they're going to rethink this.
Well, I know they won't think about Treadwell. I think he went home.
We did watch Delouiso in pregame, and he was hitting from 52 yards away. There's Treadwell, who has been struggling. And they take the delay of game. The New York Giants do to back it up and give Harlan more of a chance to get it inside the 20-yard line.
Treadwell should come up here and finish the game with us. I don't believe he's going to get an opportunity.
I take it you're down. You're down on him.
I'm not down on him, but just, you know, he's killing the coach. And pretty soon the coach, even though he's with him in Denver, said, I loved you in Denver. I don't love you no more.
And to punt again. Metcalf back at the 10. With protection. High hanger. It should be downed, and they missed it. Or do they save it? They got it at the 1. That's a 36-yard punt. Willie Beeman is the one who volleyballed it back into regulation. Widmer was down as well. Testaverde down by 4. Has got his hands full against the Giant defense. Giants have slim playoff hopes. These are the kind of plays that can get you into the playoffs.
And this is what causes an upset. Great play by Willie Beeman. Flick it back in there, and at the 1-yard line. We wondered why they were punting. I thought they'd end up maybe like the 20, but that's a big-time play. Willie's had some big plays today.
He has indeed.
It's a long way for the Browns offense with what's gone on this whole second half. Both teams are under 40 yards offense.
And look what the New York Giant defense has done over the last couple games. Testaverde first down and 10 at his own 2. Play action by Testaverde. On the far side, Derek Alexander, first down to the 14.
This is a great call by the Browns. You're in your end zone. You do the play action fake. You have a watch Testaverde. He stands back there calm, and he's throwing a stop. The wideout makes it look like he's going to take it all the way. Good throw. Derek Alexander stops, turns around, and you got some room to work with. A nice call by the Browns coaching staff.
Alexander 5 receptions today. First down and 10 for Cleveland. Leroy Horde to about the 17. The pickup of 3. Hit by Dillard and Hamilton.
The penalties have hurt Horde. He's broke the long one. He's put a spark in there, and they've had a holding. Penalties have really hurt and with the time and the clock, they've hurt his opportunities to run like he's been running.
Ernest Biner now will come in and replace Horde. Yes, he will. Biner has had a huge influence, in fact, on Leroy Horde for these Cleveland Browns.
Horde said he's really changed his work habits and how important it is to get prepared and to study.
Father figure to it. Second down and 7. Here's Ernest Biner. Needed to get out to the 24. There's another flag. And he got close to the first down. Biner did, who was the last 1,000-yard gainer that this Cleveland franchise has had back in 1985. And another penalty against the Cleveland Browns.
Holding number 69, offense. Half the distance to the goal, second down.
Jerry, that's 10 penalties on Cleveland.
And if you watch, if he was holding on Howard was in that neutral zone. So everything's close. Watch Howard. His head was in there, and I think, Doug got worried there a little bit, and Doug Dawson reached over and grabbed him.
There are some that will say that this Cleveland team is looking past the Giants to Dallas next Saturday. What do you think?
I think that's unfair to the Giants. I think if you say anybody's, that's not fair to the Giants. They're playing as hard as they can play, and that's unfair to them. Nobody's looking past anybody. The Giants are playing good football.
Second down and 16. Biner is still in the backfield. And Testaverde to put it up. Almost picked off. Looking for Michael Jackson. Incomplete pass. Michael Jackson in his 7 games earlier this year with a hamstring, so he's back for Testaverde.
Deep zone. You'll see Randolph just sagging. Just keep coming back. Come back with the burst out. Pretty soon he's back there along with the safety Booty. And they're playing such a soft zone, you got to take what's in front of you. I don't think you can get behind all these people because the Giants are way back there.
Testaverde has missed his last 5. Third down. 16. Caught for the first down by Derek Alexander. At the 25. Gain of 17 on the play. The first third down converted for Testaverde in the last 6 that he has faced.
What he's been able to do with Derek Alexander is hit the stop. Derek takes off. He's all the way on the outside. Makes it look like he's running a go. This is how he got off the goal line. Then fake the stop and go, and then come back for the stop. Good timed up. Threw it right in the chest. Nice play.
Working on Willie Beeman. Big day for Derek Alexander. And a much-needed first down for the Cleveland Browns. 10-20. Clock ticking. 4th quarter. Giants lead by 4. Hamilton zeroing in on the deflection. Incomplete pass. Testaverde has already thrown 2 interceptions today.
How did Hamilton get there that fast? It looked like, he was invisible.
He was running, wasn't he?
Somebody forgot to put a hand on him because Testaverde, don't criticize him. The ball had to come out.
And that rush has been more effective here in the second half.
In the first half, neither team could get to each other's quarterback, and sort of the defenses are sort of taking over. It's not the weather. We're in beautiful. This weather here, you'd think you're in Miami, Florida.
Well, maybe not Miami.
It is pretty here.
Second down and 10. He's going to have to go to a second receiver. There's a flag thrown. Got it away. Incomplete pass. And the flag thrown on the near sideline where a route was being run.
We got a jam downfield past the 5 yards, but the quarterback leaves the pocket. So now they got to get together and decide where was the quarterback when the jam came downfield. Now they're going to talk about it. What do you think? I don't know. I didn't see it. What about you? Let's ask Randolph. How deep were you, Randolph?
I didn't know you could read lips.
There was no illegal contact foul. The quarterback was out of the pocket. Third down.
Good call, Jerry.
I love when they know what they're doing.
You were right on
The
that.
jam is going to be down here, but he's going to leave the pocket according to our crack official staff. There's the jam deeper than 5, and there's the quarterback leaving the pocket.
I'm looking at you. I'm trying to figure out how you'd look in the stripes of a referee.
I would look lost. I wouldn't take that job. They couldn't pay me enough money to take that abuse.
There's a big play for Testaverde. In fact, every third down he's going to face tonight is going to be big as he trails by 4, and he's at it 3rd and 10. He's got Biner in his backfield. Hit and brought down by Stacy Dillard, the first Giant sack tonight.
They brought him in, and they stunned him. He's a tackle, but he's going to loop all the way to the outside.
There's a fumble on the play. There was a fumble on the play, and the Giants have recovered at the 16-17-yard line of Cleveland. Picked up by Hamilton. The 5th Cleveland turnover tonight.
The tackle's going to run a loop to your right. We're going to get outside with the end inside. It's a double loop. He's coming from the other tackle. Here comes 71. He's the only guy in the field slower than me, but he's got the quarterback.
Nice
and the
stunt.
ball's out.
Nice stunt by that defensive line.
That's called a wild because it was the tackle off the other side, came all the way around.
Dillard has his first sack of the season. Hamilton, his first fumble recovery. And now facing the dog pound and that tough defense of the Browns, Dave Brown, 1st and 10. Callaway is 80. Hampton gets the call. Rodney Hampton, not much room. Anthony Pleasant was there to stack him around.
And that was our formation with 2 tight ends, 2 backs, and they tried to run left. And wow, they got to remember, they like to run left, but Jumbo's not in the game. I don't think I keep running because Jumbo's sitting over yonder. What you got to do is say, Jumbo's not in here. I got to quit running over there.
Dan Reeves trying to win his 3rd consecutive game for the New York Giants. He's won the first 2 on this series, all on the road. 2nd down and 9. Brown to Hampton. And he burrows to the 12. Tackle made by the former Giant, Carl Banks, who turned 32 years old in August. Been fairly quiet today.
They set the backs, the Giants, to their left and run to their right. So the defense is playing, coming the other way. Reverse pivot by the quarterback. He doesn't like it. Look at him slither. Run. Pick your feet up. Nice job by Rodney Hampton.
Hampton, who's got the bad back, 74 yards today. The Browns have not given up a 100-yard rushing game to anybody all season long. Make it in the backfield. 3rd down and 5. Dave Brown. Deflected at the line. He was looking for Marshall. And Ed Make-It-Pepper Johnson was the one who got a hand on it. 52, the former New York Giant outside linebacker.
Marshall's in the slot. It's called a whip. Marshall is going to go out to the outside and turn around. As soon as he's covered, turn around and bring it back to the inside. Good job by Dave Brown. And it got batted. He was open. That's a whip. He started for the sideline, turned around and came back inside. Got deflected.
Treadwell missed the field goal to begin the game, and so DeLuiso is in. He kicked a 25-yarder earlier. This from 30 yards away.
He'll punch it. He'll punch it. Watch his short punch.
There's wind in his face. And he's got it. And the Giants, now with 8:15 left in the game, have opened up a nice lead on the Cleveland Browns. It's New York 13-6. DeLuiso's kicked 2 field goals. Last one just 30 yards away, but it gave the Giants a 13-6 lead. Dan Reeves wanted DeLuiso to be his field goal kicker in the preseason. They thought maybe he wasn't focused enough, and he went 2 of 5. So they brought back Treadwell, and Treadwell has missed his last 3. They yanked him tonight, put in DeLuiso, and he has responded with 6 points on the 2 field goals, and Eric Metcalf will leave it in the end zone. Now, of course, leading the NFL in touchbacks this year is Brad DeLuisa. You had him in Atlanta, didn't you?
I had him. He missed an extra point. I think the big difference now I saw on that kickoff is now he has a mustache. When he was with me, he didn't have a mustache. But he could always kick off. He could always hit the long ball. He just wasn't real accurate. When he missed an extra point against the Vikings, the head coach got mad and cut him.
I didn't know facial hair was that big a deal.
Well, it helps him, obviously.
Well, a big doubleheader on Fox next Sunday. Begins with the pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Then the Vikings and the Bills, the Eagles and the Steelers, Green Bay against Chicago, and the Rams will be in action. Then San Francisco against San Diego with the Redskins and the Cardinals. Check the game and time in your area on the Fox Television Network. 5 turnovers by the Browns today. That ties a season high. Metcalf on 1st and 10, dancing and weaving his way. Finally stopped up by Jesse Campbell. And the defense has been a story. Testaverde has been a story, and maybe he will become the story. That's the former Super Bowl MVP with the Redskins, Mark Rippon.
Well, I think if you're the football coach on the sideline, you're coaching the Browns, a touchdown wins the game. 7 points, you can win this thing. So you don't go screwing around with the quarterback. You try to get some rhythm, some flow going here. This game is still yours if you can score a touchdown. The Giants got to play.
Testaverde's thrown a couple picks today. 2nd down and 6. On the 24. 83 is Carrier. Testaverde looking for Carrier, knocked down at the line of scrimmage. And again, the Giant defense has come with a big play. Dillard got a hand on it.
Not much pressure on the quarterback, but they're batting it down at the line. In fact, Tony Jones totally stuffed Corey Miller, and they're just staying on the line, but they're able to get their hands up. Watch 57. There's no pressure. They're all on the line of scrimmage, and then jump up and bat it down right at the line.
18th ranked defense in the NFL of the New York Giants. There's a 3rd down now for Cleveland. Testaverde. Carrier the drop. 4th down, the Cleveland Browns have got a punt. Armstead and Campbell were there.
And they're booing the quarterback. All the quarterback did is put it right in his hands, Kevin. You got to know who to boo and when and why. Don't boo the wrong guy.
Last week, Testaverde was the hero. They beat Houston 34-10, and they said, finally, we've got this offense going. But today, it has been stuck with only 2 field goals.
Well, one thing in the National Football League, whether they're cheering you or booing you, it usually doesn't last long. Something's going to change in a hurry. You're either the hero or the goat, and whatever it is, it's only going to last for 6 days, and then you got to go do it again.
Tupin a punt to Manning. 7:18 left in the 4th, and a bad punt by Tupin. This will give the Browns defense a very tough position because the Giants will begin at their own 40. The onus has been on Vinny Testaverde. A couple interceptions today. Dave Brown has done a nice job leading the Giants to a 13-6 lead.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered.
One of the great old ladies in the NFL, Cleveland Stadium. Throwback stadium, throwback uniforms for the Giants, and kind of a throwback game. Defensive football. Giants with a hard-earned 13-6 lead. On 1st and 10. Rodney Hampton. And he's out near the 40. Tackle made by James Jones. The Giants have won 2 consecutive games. There is a glimmer of hope for that final wild card playoff. Dallas won today over Philadelphia big. They clinched the division. Philadelphia alive, but barely at 7-6. The Giants on the outside looking in. And Arizona's beating Houston by a pretty good count down in Texas. Redskins are out at 2-11. Redskins were beaten by Brown and the Giants last week at RFK. 2nd down. 87 is Cross. Dave Megan. Browns are putting up a little stand right here. No gain on the play.
That's the 4th toss. Remember, we said 3, and Rodney Hampton didn't want that anymore, so they brought a new back. That play's not going anywhere. The Giants have had 27 plays, Kevin, and 38 yards. So the defenses are dominating this thing. Now, if you're with Cleveland and Cleveland's your team, you got to say, hey, a touchdown wins this. Let's muster up on this 3rd and long.
As the rain begins to trickle down from the dark sky over Cleveland, Ohio. 3rd and 10. Marshall is 83. Blitz is on, and down goes Brown at the 31. 5th sack by the Cleveland defense today. They got Billy Joe Tolliver 4 times last week, and Griffin comes up with his 2nd sack today.
Dog the formation. When the giant is going, the slot is going in motion, the man that's lined up on him is gonna dog. We're gonna show you a picture. There's Griffin. He's got the slot in motion. When he goes, there he goes. That tells him, and he no longer has coverage. He's got blitz. He wouldn't have gone if the giant did not go into motion. That's called dog the formation.
So the Giants have won 2 in a row, looking for number 3 here tonight in Cleveland, led by quarterback Dave Brown. And what a remarkable job Dan Reeves has done holding that team together when they were skidding, it seemed, out of control in that 7-game losing streak. And so now the Giants, because they have been winning, find themselves with a glimmer of hope. Cleveland, on the other hand, watches Pittsburgh win today, and the dog pound can't be too happy about what they've seen tonight, because the Browns had to win tonight to stay on track with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh goes to 10-3. They are in the playoffs right now, at the very least, as a wild card. Cleveland has to win to stay on track with Pittsburgh. Cincinnati lost, and of course, rounding out with Houston losing to Arizona down in Texas right now.
It's a punt block. They brought in all the tight ends. The split receivers got tight because they're coming after the punt.
Moran, he backed Metcalf, and picked up by the up-back for the Cleveland Browns, Mike Caldwell, who was called for roughing the punter penalty earlier in the game on that 36-yard punt. He was able to move it out just a bit. Corey Whitmer jumped on his back, and they're booing the return of Vinny Testaverde to the field.
The Cleveland philosophy is you have to win with the quarterback, not because of him. But you get in games like this where your quarterback has got to take charge and make plays on the last drive and win the game. And Cleveland's found themselves right in that position.
So they're not relying on him. They're looking at running backs, they're looking at tight ends, they're looking at receivers.
Ordinarily, they do that and play with defense. Right now, though, the quarterback's become pretty important with this score and this time.
With a slight drizzle. First down and 10 for Testaverde. Time running out. Here's that rush. And there he goes deep. Derek Alexander inside the 5. Pickup of 60 yards. 1st and goal to go. Cleveland Browns.
And great pressure on the quarterback by Howard. Howard was chasing the quarterback. The quarterback was in a dash and ran off to the right and just heaved it. And they made the big catch with Derek Alexander.
His 7th reception today.
Look at 74. Eric Howard's chasing him.
He beat Corey Raymond.
And Corey's got to remember to touch him when he's down. Corey's lucky he tripped over him. He could have got up and run.
And the pressure was there by the Giants. Now 1st down, goal to go. Cleveland's got it. Leroy Hoare, he's got some room, and he's got the touchdown. Cleveland can tie with the extra point. And we've got 4:24 left in the game. Holding Tupa for Matt Stover. He has not missed an extra point all season. And they're jumping around on that line. Eric Howard was possibly guilty.
On the touchdown run, Horde was supposed to go right. He ran up in there, and the Giants had it stopped. He just totally turned around and went opposite where the play was supposed to go. Sort of like a counter on his own. Remember, he told us, sometimes I just tell myself before I get the ball, I'm going to run a counter. Watch him. He's going to start off this way. He doesn't like it, and then comes all the way back to your right. He doesn't like it. He looks. He keeps on coming. Oh, nice block.
Michael Jackson is 81.
False starts. False starts on number 70. Offense. 5-yard penalty. You'll try for the point from the 7-yard line.
Herman R.V. was guilty for Bill Belichick's Cleveland Browns. Belichick has only faced the Giants one other time. That was in '91, and he lost to Giants Stadium to then coach Ray Handley, 13-10.
Of course, he was an assistant coach with Ray Handley.
He was with you someplace.
Billy Belichick and I were together in Detroit, locked in a room, 17 hours a day.
His daddy coached at the Naval Academy for 33 years as an 8-year-old. He used to sit and watch game film with his dad. That's where his interest in football began. This is to tie the game. Now it's more like a field goal. It's 25 yards out. It crept in. Leroy Hoard with a touchdown run and a great cutback. And he got a block from his wide receiver, Michael Jackson, coming right there. And Cleveland has come back to tie with 4:24 left. Cleveland Browns are favored by a little more than a touchdown. Giants have led most of the game. Defense has been the story in the second half. Hoard's touchdown run, his 5th on the ground, his 9th of the season.
The touchdown run was a counter from where it was supposed to start. Vinny got involved. He dives out, tries to cut off the defensive back, makes him hesitate a little bit. Jesse Campbell had to get by the quarterback, in the wide out there was making a nice block, too.
Jackson got on Thomas Randolph, and that was a very good block. And Hoard scores, and we are tied at 13 apiece. Stover the kickoff. Arthur Marshall back into the 6. And he's got some room now to the 26. Tackled by Isaac Booth. Well, the Browns today have had a very difficult time in holding on to the ball. 5 turnovers.
We said last night that was the chance for the Giants. The Browns really have had one real good play. They threw an alley-oop, threw the ball as far as they could, and all of a sudden we're all tied. It wouldn't surprise. We like overtime. We do a lot of overtime games, don't we?
Did one last week down in Phoenix at the New England-Minnesota game. And with the rain coming down a bit steadier now on Dave Brown, who is only 2 of 11 in the second half through the air. He's got a 1st and 10. Brown, flag thrown, looking for Hampton, incomplete pass. 2 flags on the field. Anthony Pleasant was pressuring Dave Brown. And it looks like it's a holding call against the New York Giants.
And that was the first time we got the old Cleveland noise we're used to. We talked about the new facilities in Cleveland for the other sports. I hope they never leave this facility. This place gets rocking. He's trying to get the jersey number.
We have 2 holding calls. We have holding on number 61, offense. That penalty is declined. We have holding on number 59, offense. That penalty is accepted. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
The New York Giants in this quarter minus 11 yards. In the second half for the New York Giants, 28 plays, 29 yards. They've got 1 more yard than plays in the second half. And with the penalty, Brown facing 1st and 20. Knocked down. Incomplete. James Jones, 96.
Well, that long pass, Kevin, has brought back the Cleveland crowd. The crowd is getting into the game, making it hard on the Giants. Wow, he hit him right in the face mask with the ball. He didn't tip that with his hand. He tipped it with his nose.
Well, they said through that 7-game streak and the knockout and the benching that Brown had gained character, that his heart was coming through. Now he needs all the character he can find in his reserves. Playoff chase is still alive for both teams. Second down and 20. Big play for Brown. To the 20.
Stole the ball, Kevin. He stole the ball.
And they called it a fumble. Nope, they're calling it down at the 20. Arthur Marshall the catch. Mike Caldwell with the tackle. I'm looking forward to seeing this one. I can't...
It looked to me like he pulled it out before they hit the ground, but I'm a long way from it. There's the catch. Watch him pull the ball out.
Oh,
that's his ball. That's Cleveland's ball.
That should have been a fumble.
He pulled it right away from him. That's what we thought.
Clock is down to 3:15 in the fourth. Tied at 13. Brown, 3rd and 15. They're blitzing. Brown. Big catch made by Chris Callaway. He's out to the 46 and a first down in a driving rainstorm for the New York Giants.
And they picked up the blitzers. They did a good job on protecting the quarterback. Unfortunately, we've got a missed call. Otherwise, the Browns would have had the ball right down in there. That's how a bad call, Kevin. You got to see what happens the next play.
Big completion for Brown. Clock is down to 2.5 minutes remaining. 1st and 10. They're blitzing again. And Rodney Hampton to the 48. Gain of about 1.5 yards, and Bill Johnson and Frank Stam.
There's that toss, Kevin. I think the Giants have just said, we're going to keep running this thing whether we gain any yards or not. That's about the 5th time. I don't think they got a yard yet on that thing.
We've just been told from downstairs that the reason it was not a fumble is because there was forward motion on the catch. And so they marked it down that was stopped at the 21 or just inside the 21-yard line. And now we are at the 2-minute warning. Bill Belichick trying to stay on track of the first-place Pittsburgh Steelers. The New York Giants looking for their 3rd consecutive win, and we are tied. 2-minute warning. We're tied at 13.
And here's Callaway. Browns looking for Callaway on the 3rd and a mile. They were both second team last year and got to know each other real well, and he hits them for the real big conversion.
I guess that familiarity breeds a little bit more confidence.
He said, that's my favorite guy because I guess we were both, the show team guys a year ago.
2nd down and 9. Hampton in the backfield from the 48. They're blitzing again. Good block to save Brown. Incomplete pass. Looking for Callaway. Coverage by the rookie Antonio Langham.
Nice job by Rodney Hampton. He had to check the right side and come all the way back to help on the blitz. Watch him. He's going to go one way. He's got to come back. He's got to pick up the blitz. He's to the right. Nobody there. Work your way back weak and try to get a smack on Frank coming on. Frank Stams is the blitzer from the left side. But he had to check right side first. That's big-time football.
Now it is 3rd down. Hampton is out. Meggett is in. 9 to go for Brown. He's got to get to the 43. He's got the first down. Catch made by Mike Sherrard. Gain of 13 on the play, his 5th reception of the day, and he stops the clock at 1:49.
Cleveland is not just sitting there. They came after the quarterback, and so the guy was man-to-man, and he took away his inside, so the out route. There's the guy calling the defense. Watch this throw against the blitz. They picked up the blitz, and he's able to throw the out because they were man-to-man inside. 1st and 10 for Brown. Incomplete, looking for Pierce, who caught the early touchdown pass from Brown. Coverage by Stephen Moore. Jerry, I'm starting to think field goal now. And I know the problems that the Giants have had, and no one knows them more than who do you want
Reeves.
to kick it? Who do you want to bring in?
Well, 2 at 2 today. It's got to be Delarusso. Treadwell's already missed one today.
He punches the ball. If you watch Delarusso, it's a little punch, but you got to bring him in. Treadwell might as well come up here and sit with me.
See the 101 yards by Mike Sherrard. He is the first receiver all season long to get 100 yards or more against the Cleveland defense this season. 2nd down and 10. Brown. Another pinpoint pass. Meggett close to a first down. Tackled on the play by Pepper Johnson and Lewis Riddick. And the clock is down to 1:32 and ticking.
And Dave Brown had people hanging on his legs, had people all over him. That's what's Dave Brown is mentally tough.
And look at the quarterback keeper, and a first down by Brown to the Cleveland 23. What about that call?
That was a goose. That meant nobody heard. The defense was waiting to hear something, and the only body knew he was going to get the ball was the center.
That's been one of the best plays of the day. Quick count. We're tied. 13. 1:16 left.
22 minutes, 16 seconds past the hour.
Nice guy, James. His name's William.
A familiar face. A morning smile. An extra step.
Bridge was down, but he got here anyway, didn't he? It's amazing.
At this moment, the people of FedEx are using their know-how, determination, and heart to treat your package as if it were the most important package of all. Because to them, that's exactly what it is.
James, such a nice boy. He is a nice boy, but his name's William.
Here's the sneak without any verbalization. They call it the goose. You just get up, get everybody ready. And the center snaps it when he's ready. So the defense is listening for a count. There is no sound. It's called a silent goose. Give me the ball when you're ready, center, and I'm going to run and get the sneak for a first down. Done to perfection. Nice job.
Coming into this drive, which may be a game-winning drive by Dave Brown against the Cleveland defense tonight, in this quarter, he was 2 of 11. Make it in the second half. He was only 2 of 11. And Jerry on this drive, he has gone 3 of 5.
And the big strike on 3rd and long to Callaway. Don't forget that play.
10th play of the drive, 1st and 10 inside the Cleveland 24. Rodney Hampton to the 22, and a gain of 2, and Pepper Johnson was there. Today's game was produced by Jeff Gowen, directed by Andy Kindle. The studio show is produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. The executive directors, producers of Fox Sports, Ed Gorn and David Hill. Rich Russo, our associate director. Bo Garrett, our broadcast associate. Statistics today by Pat McGrath and our spotter, Jimmy Stamos. 2nd down and 9 and a tie game with 43 seconds left. Double tight ends. Hampton near the 20. Timeouts. The Giants have 1. The Browns have 2. That timeout
by the Browns
will be taken by Cleveland. Now all eyes on DeLuiso. And wouldn't it be interesting, a guy that lost the field goal job that he was given in the preseason would regain it 3/4 of the way through the year and possibly win a game that would give the Giants their 3rd consecutive win and unbelievably keep them alive in the playoff chase.
I think really what's happened today is this kicker has been forced to produce now or never. This is his career. Get it done when it counts. He's got a new mustache. I call that a football mustache because it looks like 11 on a side. And a mustache maybe has changed and given him some more confidence here. But the Browns have played good defense. The Browns have played good football. They've just run into a Giant team that will not surrender.
And looking ahead, Cincinnati will be the first opponent in a month for the Giants at home. And they've already beaten Philadelphia this year. And then they finish off with Dallas. 12th play of the drive, 3rd and 8 for the Browns. Make it for the Giants. New York has got 1 timeout remaining.
2 hands on the ball, Kevin. 2 hands on the ball, get another yard.
Kenyon Rashid, look at him, bulldoze his way to the 15. And here will come DeLuiso. His timeout will be taken by Bill Belichick with 23 seconds remaining.
Took them too long to call that timeout. You got to give yourself, if they kick the field goal, you got to have all the time you can get to come back and kick yours.
Cleveland, of course, was in the fight of their lives, not only coming in, but in the game tonight against the Giants, to have a tie for first place with Pittsburgh, who already won today, and the Steelers are 10-3. Next week at Dallas, that's a Saturday afternoon game. Then they play at Pittsburgh and then wind up with Seattle here at Cleveland Stadium.
2 things are going on. Eric Turner has walked across the line of scrimmage and he's talking to the kicker. That's why that coach right there, Reeves, is screaming and hollering. He went over and talked to him for quite a while. That's why he's smiling. trying to get his mind diverted a little bit. Dan Reeves got mad about that, but that's being smart. Now, he will not follow through. He will punch the ball. Most kickers, the leg swings way above their head. Delouiso's kick, it will be a short, stubby punch.
Already tonight, Delouiso has kicked field goals of 25 and 30 yards. And into a bit of a breeze. And with the rain falling, he will try from 33 yards away. The snap from Adam Schreiber. The hold from backup quarterback Kent Graham. The kick and for the lead from Brad Delouiso. From 33 yards away. He got it. And the Giants have the lead with 19 seconds left.
The score, the Giants 16, the Browns 13.
The silence in the stadium could be heard around the world. That took the wind out of everybody right here.
From 33 yards away and coming into the game, there was so much talk about Treadwell's slump. And then Delouiso's coming today with 3 field goals, and that one from 33 yards away could be the game winner.
Oh, it just made it in that left-hand bar there, too. What a big, big game for the Giants.
Let's not forget about the 13-play, 59-yard drive engineered by Dave Brown, because the entire second half had been all defense, and the Giant offense had done nothing until the drive when they needed to get in field goal position. And then from Bill Belichick, in the fight of his life for the top position in the division and maybe looking at an AFC title, playing at home against a Giants team that they were favored to beat by more than a touchdown tonight. Now let's go back to the Cleveland Browns. 19 seconds with which to work. How does Delouiso kick off, and what does Cleveland respond to?
You got dangerous men that you're kicking off to. So you probably put it on the ground here and hope that they cannot have timing for a run back. Put the kick on the ground, make it skitter around so the deep men cannot handle it.
Kickoff by Delouiso, just as you call, fumbled by Horde, and picked up on the play by Randy Baldwin, out of bounds at about the 27. 14 seconds left. Jason Sehorn makes the stop for the New York Giants.
The Browns are totally out of timeouts. So the only thing you can do is throw something to the boundary where they got to get out of bounds. They got to catch the ball and get out of bounds. You can't throw the big bend. You're too far away. You got to keep working it down farther.
For the former Giant Carl Banks, and for their coach Bill Belichick, a shocking performance by the New York Giants today. Rain continues to fall, and this game may fall for the Cleveland Browns. 3 receivers at the top.
A 3-man rush, and we got people 40 yards, 50 yards deep.
Testaverde. A Hail Mary throw. Incomplete. 5 seconds left. Campbell got there. One more play for Testaverde.
Now you have to have a victory man. Everybody, Kevin, cannot go for the jump ball. People got to stay away from the jump ball. Even if they catch it, you make the tackle. That time, everybody went in after the ball. That's what, there's Dan hollering.
He's done a pretty good job, Jerry.
Yeah, and we asked him, I always ask him the same question, how's those old knees? He said, they're not getting any better. We got to go to surgery.
Well, they're going to feel a heck of a lot better if they can come out of Cleveland with the win tonight. Final play, it'll be 2nd down and 10. 5 seconds left.
Flag on the play.
Flag has been thrown, and Testaverde with no time on the clock. Incomplete, and let's decipher the flag.
I believe the defense lined up offsides.
Well, the game cannot end, of course, on a defensive penalty. Nope.
Offside, number 86, offense. 9 lined up in the neutral zone. 87, penalties declined.
The New York Giants have won. They've won their 3rd consecutive game. They go to 6-7. Cleveland drops to 9-4, and a date coming up with Dallas. So now for Jerry Glanville, this is Kevin Harlan saying so long from Cleveland Stadium. The final score, 16-13 the Giants. Now we send you to Green Bay, Detroit, in Pontiac, and here's Joe Buck.